या जो विनेश
मैं उसके बारे में नहीं बताऊंगा, लेकिन हाँ उनके कोच हैं बहुत, देखो उनको बहुत दुख होया होगा कि उनकी शिष्या एक बिल्कुल गोल्ड मेडल से बिल्कुल ऐसे गोल्ड मेडल घर पे आता रह गया। लेकिन इनकी आज मैं विनेश फोगट के घर पे आया हूँ। एकेडमी है, उनके उस्ताद जी हैं, उनके कोच हैं कुश्ती में, क्योंकि पंजाब भी कुश्ती में बहुत आगे रहा है, तो हमें पता है कुश्ती में कोच नहीं बोलते, कुश्ती में उस्ताद जी बोलते हैं। तो उस्ताद जी जो हैं वो खड़े हैं। गम है, दुख है कि हमारी बेटी जो है वो गोल्ड प्लस सामने गोल्ड मेडल पड़ा था बस जी, पर कोई टेक्निकल 100 ग्राम वजन का कोई इशू आ गया। एक दिन में 3 मुकाबले जीतने और तीनों में दिग्गजों को हराना, जो डिफेंडिंग चैंपियन थी उसको हराना, पुरानी ओलंपिक की सिल्वर मेडलिस्ट को हराना। तो कल रात मैंने मैच देखा था जी। पहले 2 आए नंबर हमें, पहली ट्राई जब फोगट ने की, फिर 4-0 हुआ, फिर उसके बाद उसको 2 मिले, 4-2 हुआ, फिर हमें 1 मिला, 5 हुआ, फिर बिल्कुल 10 सेकंड रहते थे जब, तब उसको 2 नंबर और मिल गए तो मामला, तो फिर हमें एक और मिला, 7-5 से वो मुकाबला जीता। मैं बहुत बड़ा स्पोर्ट्स लवर हूँ, मैं सेकंड भी जानता हूँ। घड़ी का भी थोड़ा चक्कर पड़ा था कि 8 सेकंड जो है वो घड़ी थोड़ा 2 सेकंड और बढ़ाओ। और हमने, मुझे पता है कि फोगट ने अपने कोच को बोल के रिव्यू भी लिया था कि मेरा पाँव पहले नहीं गया था बाहर, उसका क्यूबा की उसका क्या था, लेकिन वो फैसला हमारे पक्ष में नहीं आया, उसको नंबर मिल गया। तो यहाँ के ऐसी टेक्निकल 100 ग्राम की को साहब बता रहे हैं, अगर वहाँ के जो स्टाफ है उनके साथ फिजियोथेरेपी, अगर बाल ही कटवा देते, 200 ग्राम के तो बाल ही थे फिर, तो किसकी गलती रही होगी ये? तो लेकिन ये मैं नहीं चाहता स्पोर्ट्स में राजनीति आए, लेकिन मुझे ये बता दीजिए कि हमारी जो इंडियन ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन के जितने भी मेंबर वहाँ गए हुए हैं, वो किस काम के लिए गए हैं? घूमने गए हैं, ऐश प्रस्तियां करने गए हैं देश के जनता के।
All right, so Bhagwant Manu, who was there at Vinesh Phogat's residence. For now, we should focus to the other story that we are tracking. This is the Waqf Amendment Bill that is expected to be introduced tomorrow itself. It will include provisions for 2 women to be a part of the Waqf board. So the bill that aims to ensure representation of women on Waqf boards, marking a significant step towards increased gender inclusivity in these bodies. So it's Kiran Rijiju who's all set to introduce the Waqf bill in the Parliament at 11 a.m. A very crucial bill, given that it will have amendments in the Waqf Act of 1995. At 11 a.m., Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju was set to introduce the Waqf bill in the Parliament. So a very crucial bill that have reforms in the 1995 Amendment Waqf Act. Essentially, it will have increased representation of women in the Waqf Act, and also a bill that is aimed at curtailing the rights of the Waqf board when it comes to rights on land ownership rights. Let's go across to Harsha, who has the details. Harsha, Kiran Rijiju was set to present the bill tomorrow. Once again, run us through the amendments that can be expected.
Samiksha, right now we have got to know that Kiran Rijiju, the Minority Affairs Minister, is going to introduce the bill in Lok Sabha tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and it's a very crucial bill. Till now we knew that in this session only the Waqf Board Amendment Bill will be introduced, but now it's confirmed that it's tomorrow. And also there was a Business Advisory Committee meeting with all the opposition leaders and the NDA party leaders as well, where Kiran Rijiju and both were there. But the Deputy Leader of Congress, Gaurav Gogoi, stated that right now the bill should only be introduced, but the further further discussion should not happen. It should happen in next session only. After introduction, the bill should be sent to a standing committee. To tell you, Samisha, the standing committee is very important. There are several members of opposition on the party in the standing committee where several discussion takes place on the stance of what the committee amendment will be there, because right now the copies of the Waqf amendment bill has been sent to all the members of the parliament, all the opposition leaders and the NDA party leaders. The PDF has gone to all the members of parliament regarding what exactly the amendments are. Almost 40 amendments are there in the Waqf board amendment bill which will be implemented. Back to you.
All right, Harsha, thank you for the moment. So two important provisions that are expected in the amendment that are going to be made in the Waqf Act of 1995, one being the representation of women in the Waqf board, and the second, of course, the bill that is aimed at curtailing the rights of the Waqf board when it comes to land ownership rights. A lot of reactions coming in with the opposition calling it an attempt by the central government to curtail the right of the Waqf board.
It's absolutely unconstitutional because non-Muslims are also included in the bill. In the bill, not in the bill, in the Waqf board as well as in the Waqf council. How can it be? This is the religious freedom envisaged in Article 26 of the Constitution. They are having the fundamental right to administer the properties of the particular denomination or particular community. Now you are including non-Muslims in the Waqf board and Waqf councils and disempowering the existing Waqf board. They have no authority but to just sit and see. These are all unconstitutional. It can never be agreed upon. This is against the basic feature of the Constitution because the secular credentials of the country is being challenged by this act.
So we can say that tomorrow when the bill will be introduced in the houses, then opposition is vehemently going to oppose it.
Definitely we will oppose the introduction of the bill, no doubt about it.
It's actually an unwanted move by the government of India, and we demand the immediate withdrawal of the bill. It is to be introduced in the parliament today, it seems, but we are not supporting it, and it's an unwanted intervention by the government in religious matters, and Waqf board's interests, minority interests should be protected.
There's a state Waqf board in the state of Kerala also, from where you hail. Now it is being said that the Waqf was continuously misusing the power, and that is the reason why transparency is needed, audit is needed, and the more women entities are on board. That is what the amendment says.
There may be misuse of properties and related issues that I don't want to comment, but government has no right to control these types of religious bodies. This is what. Let them do it, and let the elected wise men of Waqf board and related bodies perform the duty. Why should the government intervene? This is to create division amongst the people. And now this will spark of controversy. This will be the major point of debate in the coming days. So why the government take initiative for this?
प्रमोद जी, कल आ सकता है वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल, कांग्रेस का इस पर क्या टेक है सर?
मेरा सीधा सा ये कहना है कि पहले जो उससे पार्टीज हैं उनसे बात कर लें, अपने दोस्तों से बात कर लें, नीतीश और राव साहब से।
समाजवादी पार्टी नेता रामगोपाल यादव इस वक्त हमारे साथ है। रामगोपाल जी, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल आने वाला है, इस पर समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या टेक है?
पूरी तरह इसका विरोध करेगी, पूरी ताकत से, संसद को भी नहीं चलने देंगे जरूरत पड़ी तो।
CBI takes over probe in Delhi IS aspirant's death case. Double medalist Manu Bhaker returns home to a grand welcome. Pakistan national charged in connection with a foiled assassination plot potentially targeting Donald Trump. And let's shift focus to the other story that we've been tracking. This is the statement that came in from Salman Khurshid, who compared the situation in Bangladesh to that in India, saying that what's been happening in Bangladesh could happen in India as well in the coming days, something which he stands by. In fact, Republic has confronted Salman Khurshid, who sticks to his statements, saying that this is his right to freedom and right to exercise his freedom of speech. Meanwhile, Congress seems to have distanced itself from the statements. Listen in to that confrontational sequence.
What do you have to say about his statement? Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this? Why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Khurshid, what do you have to say about his statement? Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this? Why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
All right, so you just heard Salman Khurshid, and it's not just Salman Khurshid, it's Manu Bhaker of the RJD as well, who's glorified the Shaheen Bagh stir. Listen in to those remarks that came in from Manu Bhaker, who was in attendance at that same event in which Salman Khurshid made those remarks.
Don't measure Shaheen Bagh on the scale of grandeur, on the scale of what it achieved. Remember what constituted Shaheen Bagh. I was in the parliament, Shashi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh. And I draw a parallel here. In France in 1968, there was a student movement. 1968 in the Nanterre University. The movement was unsuccessful immediately. But the reverberation of 1968 can be heard even today. So don't measure the success of a movement what it immediately achieved. It's a very difficult time for Muslims in general. Very difficult time for Muslims in general because political parties actually camouflage this issue. In fact, मैं ये कहूँ कि लोग अक्सर मैंने कहा भी है कई दफा कि लोग मुसलमान नहीं बोलते हैं, माइनॉरिटीज बोलते हैं. मतलब एक जातिवाचक संज्ञा से, मतलब हिंदी में उसको जाति.
Let's put out a news break that's coming in from Nepal. This is Air Dynasty chopper that has crashed near the Nuwakot district, 20 kilometers north of Kathmandu. So this mishap that has happened close to Kathmandu. It's Air Dynasty chopper that has crashed in the Nuwakot district, which is said to be 20 kilometers north of Kathmandu. We will try and get more details, not known as of now whether there are any casualties, but this is another crash incident which is being reported from Nepal. Close to the Kathmandu region, it's the Nuwakot district where an Air Dynasty helicopter has crashed 20 kilometers north of capital city. We'll try and get more details, but the visuals on your screens are from that location where the chopper crash happened. Not yet known if there are any casualties in this mishap, but there have been series of chopper crashes in Nepal, and this is another one that is coming in. It's very close to Kathmandu region. In fact, 20 kilometers north of Kathmandu at the Surya Chor Hill. where an Air Dynasty chopper has crashed. We'll try and go across to Surendra Fuyal, who's been getting us all these inputs. Sketchy details as of now. It's Air Dynasty chopper that has crashed near Kathmandu city. So it's a chopper crash near the Nuwako district. Reports coming in that there are some casualties, but awaiting confirmation on that from our reporters. The helicopter that had departed from Kathmandu and was en route, a location which is said to be 20 kilometers, in fact 50 kilometers from Kathmandu region. So this tragedy which has happened near the Shivpuri area of Nuwako district, Air Dynasty chopper that has crashed. Reports coming in that the helicopter was piloted by Senior Captain Arun Malla, and that there were a total of 5 people on board the chopper. Let's go across to Surendra Fuyal, who's joining us live from Kathmandu. Surendra, anything you're learning in terms of casualties or injuries that have been reported?
The helicopter was carrying 5 people, including the captain, according to Civil Aviation of Nepal, Civil Aviation Authority. The helicopter took off about 2 in the afternoon from Kathmandu, nearly 2, and then it lost contact 3 minutes later, and then it was found crashed half an hour later when another helicopter was flown to the area for rescue. The police are saying that they have already recovered the bodies from the site. They are at the site. It was carrying 4 Chinese nationals who were bound for Rasua district, which borders China. It's unclear where they were going, but this unfortunate tragedy, another air crash sort of happened 12 days after another air crash happened in Kathmandu airport.
Yes, Surendra, we understand that some reports are also coming in that 5 casualties have been reported. If you can confirm it for us.
Yes, 5 people were on board, and according to Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, their bodies have been found. There are no survivors. One of them is Nepali national, Captain Malla.
Okay.
And 4 are passengers. They are Chinese nationals. That has been confirmed by Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal just now.
All right. Thank you for the moment, Surendra. So Surendra also confirming that 5 casualties have been reported. This is the tragic incident that's coming to light from Kathmandu. We'll head into a very short break for now, but when we come back, we'll get you more breaking news updates from Nepal, where a tragic incident is now coming to light. Another chopper crash that has claimed lives of 5 people.
এটা একটা ঐতিহাসিক ঘটনা, যেহেতু একজন নোবেল বিজয়ীকে অর্থ আত্মসাতের অভিযোগ এনেছে, জালিয়াতির অভিযোগ এনেছে, মানি লন্ডারিং এর অভিযোগ এনেছে। আমি একা নই, আমরা আরো 7 জন যারা
News that's coming in from Nepal, where a plane crash has resulted in loss of 5 lives. Let's go across to Surendra Foyal, who's joining us live from Kathmandu. Surendra, 5 people have lost their lives. Anything you're learning as to what was the cause of this plane crash?
Nobody knows what led to the crash, what caused the crash, but it's very unfortunate that it happened 12 days after Kathmandu suffered a big plane crash at Kathmandu.
The process of weight cut prior to the weight in the morning involves a calculated restriction of food and water. And besides this, the athlete needs to sweat, and that sweating is done with sauna and with exercise. Now, this weight cut has the benefit of putting you into a lighter weight category, but does cause weakness and energy depletion. And this is counterproductive to participation. So, most wrestlers will thereafter go in for some amount of energy restoration with limited water and high energy foods. And these are usually given after the weigh-in. The calculation from the nutritionist which is done is athlete specific, and Vinesh's nutritionist felt that the usual amount that she takes is about 1.5 kilograms totally over the day, which gives enough energy for the bouts. Sometimes there's also a factor of a rebound weight gain following competition. Now, Vinesh had 3 bouts, and hence to prevent any dehydration, some amount of water had to be given. We found that her post-participation weight was increased more than normal, and the coach initiated the normal process of weight cut that he has always employed with Vinesh. This is something that's worked with her for a long period of time. He felt confident that this would be achieved, and over the night we went ahead with the weight cut procedure. However, in the morning we found that despite all of our efforts, her weight was 100 grams over her 50 kilogram weight category, and hence she was disqualified. We had tried all possible drastic measures throughout the night, including cutting off her hair, shortening her clothes, and despite all of this, we could not make that 50 kg weight category. Following disqualification as a precautionary measure, Vinesh was administered some intravenous fluids just to prevent dehydration, and typically we get a few blood tests done just to make sure that everything is normal. So this process is going on at the local Olympic hospital here. All of Vinesh's parameters during this weight cut were normal, and throughout this process she actually felt perfectly normal. Vinesh just interacted with IOA President Dr. Mrs. P.T. Usha and mentioned that although she is physically and medically perfectly normal, she's disappointed that this is her third Olympics and she had to be disqualified.
The IOA is taking every step to ensure that the morale of the contingent remain high. We are sure all Indians will stand with Vinesh and the entire Indian contingent.
All right, so IOA issuing a statement saying that Vinesh Phogat practiced vigorously to ensure that she fits that criteria of 50 kg. However, that did not happen. She was given some fluids and that was a 100-gram knockout. The very fact that Vinesh Phogat has now been disqualified from the Paris Olympics. In fact, note Prime Minister Modi has been taking first-hand information from P.T. Usha, the IOA president, and with that support also pouring in from all quarters, from sports persons to President Draupadi Murmu, who have extended all-out support to Vinesh Phogat. In fact, the Sports Ministry also issuing a statement that all efforts are being made to get Vinesh Phogat in. We're heading to a short break for now, but we will put out the detailed statement that's now coming in from the IOA on Vinesh Phogat's disqualification from the Paris Olympics.
Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. We have seen the announcement that Prime Minister Hasina resigned from her position and departed Bangladesh. We are monitoring the situation carefully. The United States stands with the people of Bangladesh. We urge all parties to refrain from further violence. Too many lives have been lost over the course of the past several weeks, and we urge calm and restraint in the days ahead.
Blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
Watching Republic TV, I'm Kriti Mehta. We're live and breaking at 4 p.m. Viewers, a big heartbreak for India this morning as Vinesh Phogat, who was about to fight in the final of wrestling bout at Olympics, was disqualified. That and Salman Khurshid has made a very controversial remark saying the protests that happened in Bangladesh could also happen in India. We'll bring you all that and more, but first let's take a quick check of the headlines.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100-gram overweight.
Vinesh disqualification is very shocking, and I met Vinesh at the Olympic Village Polyclinic a short while ago, and I showed her complete support of the Indian Olympic Association, Government of India and the whole country.
Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge strong protest. He also does the IOO president and asks her to explore all legal options.
If you made such a comment in a public platform,
you should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salmanji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform.
Please. I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent on shameful Bangladesh comparison, Congress leader Khurshid ducks and evades our questions.
I was in the parliament, Sachi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to anti-India tirade by Indie blog. RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies Shaheen Bagh's stir. India government to table bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Air Dynasty helicopter crashes at Shivpuri in Nuwakot in Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
And viewers, yet another Olympic heartbreak for Vinesh Phogat as she is disqualified from wrestling finals. The IOA has issued a statement saying her disqualification for being overweight was just by mere 100 grams. Meanwhile, several top reactions have come in over the disqualification of Phogat. Prime Minister Modi has extended support, as has President Draupadi Murmu. Leaders from across the sports fraternity as well as top industries, including the film industry, has also extended support to Phogat. The AFI has denied any conspiracy in connection to the disqualification of Phogat. We're getting to learn also that an appeal has already been filed by the Indian Olympic Association on the matter. The WFI has also said that they are trying to get Vinesh Phogat back in the game. This even as Phogat has been replaced by the Cuban candidate in the finals of the Olympics. Let me just go across to my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us live from the Republic newsroom on the story to get us more details on the latest in connection to the disqualification of Phogat. But before that, let's tell you once again, viewers, that Phogat was disqualified just about when she was to play the finals seeking gold in the Olympics. Let me go across to Rakshita, who's now live with us. Rakshita, very good afternoon to you. Very heartbreaking news for a across the country. All Indians were praying and eyeing this historic win for Phogat. She could have been the first woman wrestler to get a gold for India. But what are the possibilities for Phogat going forward? Do we and should we expect her to return to the game?
No, that's highly unlikely, highly unlikely, and there's no point in keeping any hopes now. What we understand even from the IOA statement, we can clearly see that there is no talk of any sort of option that has been explored by the IOA, because the rules remain in place for every, for every player, for every athlete. In fact, at least 3 to 4 athletes from other countries have also been disqualified because of this weight category issue, being overweight. They have also been disqualified. So there cannot be any special, bending of rules for India, practically speaking there, Kriti. Let me just tell you, there are 2 weight cuts that happen here. Tuesday, she, of course, passed that weight cut, but the final weight cut, the last 24 hours, is the most important one and the most challenging one. What we are getting to know is that the coach, the staff, tried their best to, contain that, the weight gain that was happening, even cutting her hair, even trying to, dehydrate and whatnot. And that's why you understand how the news broke in of her being hospitalized because of dehydration. This is what happens. It's a human body at the end of the day. One cannot really risk it beyond a point for fighting out in the Olympics. If you talk about the rules here, there are 2 weight cuts. Vinesh, of course, made it to the weight category on Tuesday, but she was 100 grams beyond, above the limit of 50 kilograms. Now, once you make the weight on the morning of the competition, one nourishes their body with electrolytes. And remember, she had her 3 competitions yesterday, 3 bouts back to back, and she tried to replenish her because, of course, the human body gets tired. And in that, it gets very challenging to lose that weight also later on. Now, the human body is completely depleted at this point, and it will absorb whatever you put into it. But you have to breathe, you have to live, and that's what has happened with Vinesh Phogat. Of course, the onus lies on her staff. Remember, Kriti, there is the biggest health support staff, mental health support staff, psychologists, sports psychologists, fitness specialists have been sent in. Never before we have seen a big staff as this that has been sent in alongside the Indian contingent. But what has happened now has happened. It could not have been stopped. It could have been stopped, but now there is no recourse. There's no going back. She cannot pull out. There are many people who are saying that she could have pulled out and maybe settle for a silver or a bronze, but that cannot happen as per rules. The repertoire round becomes with the opponent she defeated yesterday, and they will be fighting out for the bronze medal right now. So there's Article 8 of competition system of the UWW rule book. In fact, it clearly defines how the medical control and first weigh-in will be held the morning of the concerned weight category, and no more weight tolerance will be allowed for the second weigh-in. And that is what has happened. And there is also Article 11 that says for all competitions, the weigh-in organized each morning of the concerned weight category, the weigh-in and the medical control last 30 minutes. The second morning of the concerned weight category, only the wrestlers who participate in the repercharges and finals have to come for weigh-in. This weigh-in will last 15 minutes. So this, of course, these are the rules which have been followed, and it's been just a very cruel twist of fate for Vinesh Phogat, who in the Rio Olympics, while she was competing, while she was wrestling, that heartbreaking moment was witnessed in 2016 when she had to be, exited. She taken out in a stretcher. She got injured. Last time around also there were a lot of controversies. Entire 1 or 2 years past, 1 or 2 years, she has been in news for her fight against WFI. And now when she was back on the mat, this was the moment, as you mentioned, that could have been history. It was unprecedented. A woman wrestler getting a gold medal or even a silver would have been history. But unfortunately, it cannot happen anymore. Antim Pangal, let me just tell our viewers, she was also in contention. She's also a world champion, a young wrestler. She has also lost for the qualification. She did not make it to the qualification route. So a very bad day for Indian wrestling in the Olympics.
Well, absolutely. Thanks for joining us with those details. But let's tell you, viewers, once again that the WFI has put its weight behind Vinesh Phogat and has said that it will appeal to reinstate Phogat into the game, even though chances look very bleak as of now. But IOA has also issued a statement and extended support to Vinesh Phogat. We want to show you that reaction now.
Vinesh disqualification is very shocking, and I met Vinesh at the Olympic Village Polyclinic a short while ago, and I showed her complete support of the Indian Olympic Association, Government of India, and the whole country. We are providing Vinesh all medical and emotional support. The Wrestling Federation of India has filed an appeal to UWW to consider the decision to disqualify Vinesh, and IOA is following that up in the strongest possible manner. I am aware of the relentless effort made by Vinesh medical team led by Dr. Dingshaw Patiwala and the Chief Dimission Gagan Naran through the night to ensure that she could meet the competition requirements.
In fact, Sports Minister Mansukh Mandaviya also addressed the Lok Sabha over the disqualification of Phogat after the opposition staged a walkout over the matter. He said that top assistance was provided to Phogat, including the top nutritionists and the coaches. Let's show you what the Sports Minister had to say in the Lok Sabha on the matter.
भारतीय रेसलर विनेश फोगाट को तय कैटेगरी में ज़्यादा वजन 100 ग्राम होने की वजह से पेरिस ओलंपिक से बाहर होना पड़ा है। विनेश 50 केजी की कैटेगरी में खेल रही थी। स्पर्धा के लिए विनेश का वजन 50 किलोग्राम होना अनिवार्य था। UWW के नियमों और विनियमों के अनुसार सभी प्रतियोगिताओं के लिए संबंधित श्रेणी के लिए प्रत्येक सुबह वजन माप का आयोजन किया जाता है। अनुच्छेद 11 के अनुसार यदि कोई एथलीट वजन माप प्रथम अथवा द्वितीय में भाग नहीं लेता है अथवा असफल हो जाता है तो उसे प्रतियोगिता से बाहर कर दिया जाता है और बिना किसी रैंक के अंतिम स्थान पर रखा जाता है। 7 अगस्त 2024 को 50 किलोग्राम महिला कुश्ती के लिए वजन का निर्धारण 7:15 और 7:30 पेरिस समय के अनुसार रेपोचेज और फाइनल में भाग लेने वाले पहलवानों के लिए किया गया था। विनेश का वजन 50 किलो 100 ग्राम पाया गया, इसलिए वे स्पर्धा के लिए अयोग्य घोषित की गई। इस मामले को लेकर भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कुश्ती संघ से कड़ा विरोध भी दर्ज किया है। नेशनल भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ की अध्यक्षा PT उषा भी अभी पेरिस में है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं उसके साथ बातचीत करके उचित कार्यवाही करने के लिए, उचित एक्शन लेने के लिए भी उसको कहा गया है। विनेश मंगलवार 6 अगस्त को 3 मुकाबले जीतकर 50 केजी रेसलिंग ओलंपिक में फाइनल में पहुंचने वाली पहली भारतीय महिला रेसलर बनी थी।
And viewers, the Republic also spoke to the WFI President Sanjay Singh regarding Vinesh Phogat's disqualification for being over the 100-gram weight limit. Let's show you.
विनेश को डिस्क्वालीफाई कर दिया गया, इसकी खबर आ रही है। क्या कुछ हुआ है, थोड़ा हमें लेके चलिए उसके थ्रू।
उनका थोड़ा सा वजन, विनेश जी का थोड़ा सा वजन ज्यादा हो गया था।
अच्छा, हाँ, अच्छा।
उन्होंने रात में उन्होंने काफी मेहनत की है, 5 घंटे साइकिलिंग किया है और जिम किया है, सब कुछ किया है, लेकिन लास्ट मतलब वेट देते देते 100 ग्राम वजन रह गया उनका और रिक्वेस्ट किया गया है सबसे, वहां सब कुछ किया गया, लेकिन वो माने नहीं उसको।
तो सर इसके आगे क्या होगा कि हमारे जो गोल्ड मेडल के चांसेस थे वो तो फिर इसकी वजह से कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गए
जी। अब इसको बाकी इसका भी रूल देखा जा रहा क्या होगा इसके लिए।
अच्छा, तो अभी फेडरेशन की तरफ से कुछ किया जा रहा है, कुछ रिक्वेस्ट की गई है?
रिक्वेस्ट किया गया वहां फोन पे, वहां सब कुछ फेडरेशन की तरफ से तो काफी रिक्वेस्ट किया गया, सबसे बातचीत की गई, पूरा प्रयास किया गया कि किसी तरह से ये मैनेज हो जाए।
विनेश से बात हो पाई है? विनेश क्या कह रही है?
विनेश से बात अभी नहीं हो पाई है मेरी।
अच्छा, तो
क्योंकि उनकी तबीयत भी खराब हो गई, उनको हॉस्पिटल ले गए अभी।
अच्छा, विनेश अभी हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड है?
हाँ, वेट तोड़ने के लिए उन्होंने इतना मेहनत किया है कि डिहाइड्रेशन हो गया है थोड़ा।
अच्छा, उन्हें अभी पेरिस के हॉस्पिटल में रखा गया है।
वही विलेज के अंदर ही है ना, वो विलेज के अंदर है।
विलेज के अंदर अभी मेडिकल फैसिलिटी में उनको देखा जा रहा है। उनकी हालत अभी कैसी है?
अभी ठीक है, अभी तो मतलब ठीक हो गई है
अभी बेटर है, पर उनको वो वेट कट करने की कोशिश के लिए अभी उन्हें मेडिकल केयर की जरूरत पड़ी थी।
बिल्कुल 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 बिल्कुल।
अच्छा, तो अभी मेडल का क्या चांस होगा? अभी अब हम लोगों को सिल्वर मेडल मिलेगा या फिर पूरी तरीके से डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गया? कि नियम क्या कहते हैं सर?
नियम ये कहते हैं कि पूरी तरह से डिस्क्वालीफाई।
तो अभी कोई भी मेडल, हम इंडिया के जो इतना बढ़िया मेडल प्रोस्पेक्ट था वो पूरा ही अभी कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गया इसकी वजह से।
बिल्कुल 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 जी।
अच्छा, तो फिर अभी नेक्स्ट कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन क्या होगा? इसके बाद क्या एक्शन लिया जाएगा सर?
इसका जो रूल रेगुलेशन से एक्शन होगा वो लिया जाएगा इस पे।
And moving on, viewers, to another Olympic champion. Now, after winning the country 2 bronze medals at the ongoing Paris Games, ace Indian shooter Manu Bhaker arrived at the Delhi airport on Wednesday to a rousing public reception. Triumphalist chants went up in the crowd and drum beats rent the air as Manu landed in the national capital on her way home to Jhajjar in Haryana. Watch this report for more.
After making 1 billion Indians proud with her spectacular performance at the Paris Olympics, ace shooter Manu Bhaker arrived in Delhi to a rapturous applause. Manu Bhaker shone at the Paris Games, winning 2 bronze medals in the 10-meter air pistol and the 10-meter air pistol mixed team events. Manu was treated to a petal shower as she arrived at the airport. Loud chants rang out and drum beats rolled as Manu flaunted her 2 bronze medals.
बहुत बहुत खुशी हो रही है जिस तरीके का स्वागत किया गया एयरपोर्ट पे भी और यहाँ होटल में भी, लीला पैलेस। मुझे बेहद खुशी है कि लोगों से इतना सारा प्यार मिल रहा है और इतना सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं और मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आगे भी ये यूं ही बरकरार रहेगा। मैं भी यूं ही मेहनत करती रहूँगी और अपना बेस्ट देती रहूँगी।
Manu Bhaker's coach Jaspal Rana was also treated to a warm reception by a delirious airport crowd.
गर्व की बात है कि एक भारत की 22 साल की मतलब छोटी बच्ची है जिसने देश के लिए इतिहास रच दिया। तो आई थिंक इट्स ऑनर एंड आई एम द मोस्ट आई थिंक प्राउडेस्ट पर्सन दैट कि ओलंपिक वाला सपना जो मेरा रह गया था इसके माध्यम से पूरा हुआ।
The Jhajjar girl narrowly missed out on a medal in the 25-meter women's pistol event, finishing 4th.
Well, it has been a great show for me. I have been shooting really well. These past, I think, 5-6 days have been amazing. I shot really well in all the qualifications. Then the final rounds were also great. So 2 bronzes and 1 4th position. So I think I'm happy for now, but need to work even harder in the future.
Though she fell short of striking gold at the Paris Olympics, she gladdened 1 billion Indian hearts with her haul at the greatest sporting event on the planet. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
It is the 3rd day of Sheikh Hasina's interim stay here in India. We will have to wait and watch if she is going to travel to UK or she is choosing some other country for her stay. Stay tuned with Republic TV. We are slipping into a short break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant CUET candidates. Over 25,000 scholarship holders have already benefited from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, Apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
Welcome back, viewers. Now an anti-terror operation is underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur in Basantgarh, where 4 terrorists continue to remain trapped. We have a report on how our forces are trying to neutralize these Jaish-e-Mohammed-based terrorists. Let's take a look.
The anti-terror operation in Udhampur's Basantgarh has entered its 14th hour. Indian forces continue to engage a group of 4 Pakistani terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed. The operation, which began last evening, focuses on the Khanid area of Basantgarh. The operation is being carried out by Northern and Western commands of the Indian Army, alongside special forces and local police from Kathua and Udhampur. Officials say gunshots were heard in Basantgarh, where joint search parties of the police and the army moved deep inside the densely forested area to track down the terrorists. This operation follows a series of terror attacks in Jammu, including the killing of a village defense group member on April 28 by terrorists. While no casualties have been reported yet, reinforcements have rushed to the area to track down and neutralize the holed-up terrorists.
The Waqf Board Amendment Bill 2024 is here with lots of changes from the existing law, right from the name to the administrative roles. Stay tuned as we bring in more details on this from Ground Zero. We will be back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
На західну бойову авіацію. Від початку цієї війни ми говорили з партнерами про те, що необхідно закрити наше українське небо від російських ракет, від російських літаків. Ми провели сотні зустрічей та перемовин, щоб зміцнити можливості нашої авіації, зміцнити можливості нашої ППО, наших сил оборони. Ми часто чули у відповідь слово «це неможливо», але все ж ми зробили можливим те, що було нашою амбіцією, нашою оборонною потребою. А тепер це дійсно реальність у нашому небі. F-16 в Україні.
Начальнику зенітних ракетних військ, начальник управління підготовки зенітних ракетних військ.
Welcome back, viewers. And now Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar and the Election Commission are set to visit Jammu and Kashmir from August 8 to 10 to assess the preparedness for the assembly elections. Now, this is just weeks before the Supreme Court's September 30 deadline for conducting polls in the Union Territory. Listen into this report.
The Election Commission of India will convene with political parties in Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday to ask for their opinions on organizing assembly elections in the Union Territory. The Office of the Chief Electoral Officer of Jammu and Kashmir sent out invitations to various political parties for a meeting with the ECI. Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar and the team will be in the valley from August 8th to 10th. The EC will meet with political parties at 11 a.m. on 8th of August in Srinagar, followed by a session with the Chief Electoral Officer of Jammu and Kashmir and other officers at 2 p.m. They are expected to conclude the day by meeting with Deputy Commissioners and SSPs at 4 p.m. The Commission will also review sweep programs the next day and will then meet with the Chief Secretary, DGP and other officials at the same time. On the third and final day, the EC will hold a meeting with top law enforcement officials to discuss the law and order situation and conclude their visit with a press conference at 5 p.m.
It's all set to bring the amended Waqf bill in the parliament tomorrow, which has provision of representation of women in the National Waqf Board. We'll get you the details of the full dossier that we've accessed. Slipping into a very short break for now.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100-gram overweight.
Vinesh disqualification is very shocking. The Wrestling Federation of India has filed an appeal to UWW to consider the decision to disqualify Vinesh, and IOA is following that up in the strongest possible manner.
Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge a strong protest. He also dials the IOA president and asks her to explore all legal options.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
shameful Bangladesh comparison. Congress leader Khurshid ducks and evades Republic questions.
Shashi was in the parliament. We had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to anti-India tirade by Indie bloc. RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies the Shaheen Bagh stir. India government to table bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Air Dynasty chopper crashes at Shivpuri, Nuwakot and Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Viewers, we start with our focus on the Waqf. What we're understanding is that tomorrow the bill could be introduced in the Parliament. Let's take a look at some reactions of the reports we have filed in. So the much debated Waqf Amendment Bill, viewers, is going to be now debated in the Parliament tomorrow. And we are explaining to you what it could mean, how it could be renamed, the original act versus proposed amendment. You can read it for yourself. On your screens are the visuals and the graphics. Now the Waqf Amendment Bill is all set to be tabled tomorrow at 11 a.m. Harsha, my colleague, joins us for more. Harsha, tell us, of course, what we expect is that it could be a big showdown in the Parliament tomorrow when Amit Shah tables the bill.
You rightly pointed out, Rakshita, because there are several opposition parties who morning when spoke to me clearly stated that we are going to oppose this bill vehemently, from Congress to AIMIM, from CPI to CPM. All the political parties clearly stated that how they are going to oppose this bill in the House of Lok Sabha, because Lok Sabha is the house, the lower house of the Parliament, where the bill will be introduced by Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju, and it will be after the question hour. To tell our viewers that after 11 o'clock, that could be between 12 to 1, that this bill will be introduced in the lower house of the Parliament, which is Lok Sabha. And then Gaurav Gogi, the deputy leader in the Business Advisory Committee meeting, also stated that they want that the bill should be sent to the standing committee. So tell you that the standing committee has members of both the houses, Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, and the standing committee will have several discussions. So we are likely, it's likely possible that tomorrow the bill will be introduced, but the further discussion of the bill will be taken in the next session, which will be likely the winter session of the Parliament. But tomorrow, the Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju at around 1 o'clock will be introducing the bill in Lok Sabha, and opposition all said to oppose the bill. All the opposition party leaders had meeting today in the chamber of Mallikarjun Kharge. The deputy leader of Gaurav Gogai of Congress have clearly stated that they entire opposition is together with one voice in this Waqf Amendment Bill, because they have clearly stated that government is trying to communalize this bill, and also they are doing it before election. They are not thinking about the minorities in this. They say that this for the welfare of minority. Indeed, it's the injustice which will be bestowed upon the minorities of the country. This is what Congress have stated. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Harsha, for joining us with the updates. In fact, there are multiple reactions that have been coming in, viewers. Let's take a dip into some of those.
It's absolutely unconstitutional because non-Muslims are also included in the bill. In the bill, not in the bill, in the Waqf board as well as in the Waqf council. How can it be? This is the religious freedom envisaged in Article 26 of the Constitution. They are having the fundamental right to administer the properties of the particular denomination or particular community. Now you are including non-Muslims in the Waqf board and Waqf councils and disempowering the existing Waqf board. They have no authority but to just sit and see These are all unconstitutional. It can never be agreed upon. This is against the basic feature of the constitution because the secular credentials of the country is being challenged by this act.
So we can say that tomorrow when the bill will be introduced in the houses, then opposition is vehemently going to oppose it.
Definitely we will oppose the introduction of the bill, no doubt about it.
It's actually an unwanted move by the government of India, and we demand the immediate, withdrawal of the bill. It is to be introduced in the parliament today, it seems, but we are not supporting it. And it's an unwanted intervention by the government in religious matters. And Waqf board's interests, minority interests should be protected.
There's a state Waqf board in the state of Kerala also from where you hail. Now it is being said that the Waqf was continuously misusing the power. And that is the reason why transparency is needed, audit is needed, and the more women entities are needed in the Waqf board. That is what the amendment says.
There may be, misuse of properties and related issues. That I don't want to comment. But government has no right to control these types of religious bodies. This is what. Let them do it and let the elected wise men of Waqf board and related bodies perform the duty. Why should the government intervene? This is to create division amongst the people. And now this will spark of controversy. This will be the major point of debate in the coming days. So why the government take initiative for this?
प्रमोद जी, कल आ सकता है वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल, कांग्रेस का इस पर क्या टेक है सर?
मेरा सीधा सा ये कहना है कि पहले जो उससे पार्टीज हैं उनसे बात कर लें, अपने दोस्तों से बात कर लें, नीतीश और राव साहब से।
समाजवादी पार्टी नेता रामगोपाल यादव इस वक्त हमारे साथ है। रामगोपाल जी, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल आने वाला है, इस पर समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या टेक है?
पूरी तरह इसका विरोध करेगी, पूरी ताकत से, संसद को भी नहीं चलने देंगे जरूरत पड़ी तो।
समाजवादी पार्टी नेता रामगोपाल यादव इस वक्त हमारे साथ है। रामगोपाल जी, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल आने वाला है, इस पर समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या टेक है?
पूरी तरह इसका विरोध करेगी, पूरी ताकत से, संसद को भी नहीं चलने देंगे जरूरत पड़ी तो।
समाजवादी पार्टी नेता रामगोपाल यादव इस वक्त हमारे साथ है। रामगोपाल जी, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल आने वाला है, इस पर समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या टेक है?
पूरी तरह इसका विरोध करेगी, पूरी ताकत से, संसद को भी नहीं चलने देंगे जरूरत पड़ी तो।
Congress leader Salman Khurshid has stoked a fresh controversy. Now he has written about how Bangladesh, the situation unfolding in Bangladesh could in fact potentially happen in India also. And now he says that this of course is his statement. Congress has distanced itself from what Khurshid had said. Republic TV tried to confront Salman Khurshid on camera. Take a look at this sequence.
What do you have to say about his statement? What do you have to say? Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this? Why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
In fact, viewers, now there's another fresh controversy that is coming in. RJD MP Manu Bhaker has addressed an event where Khurshid spoke and reflected on the Shaheen Bagh agitation against the CAA, that is the Citizenship Amendment Bill, and in fact the NRC as well, the National Register of Citizens. Now, he asserted that it hasn't received proper recognition. In fact, Manu Bhaker emphasized that the success of the Shaheen Bagh protest should not be judged by its scale or the achievements alone. He in fact went on to highlight that when parliamentary avenues were blocked, it was the streets that came alive with the voices of the protesters. He's lending in a full support to the Shaheen Bagh agitation out in the open. Take a listen in fact to what Manu Bhaker had said in that event.
Don't measure Shaheen Bagh on the scale of grandeur, on the scale of what it achieved. Remember what constituted Shaheen Bagh. I was in the parliament, Shashi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh. And I draw a parallel here. In France in 1968, there was a student movement. 1968 in the Nantara University. The movement was unsuccessful immediately, but the reverberation of 1968 can be heard even today. So don't measure the success of a movement what it immediately achieved. It's a very difficult time for Muslims in general. Very difficult time for Muslims in general because political parties actually camouflage this issue. In fact, मैं ये कहूँ कि लोग अक्सर मैंने कहा भी है कई दफा कि लोग मुसलमान नहीं बोलते हैं, माइनॉरिटीज बोलते हैं. मतलब एक जातिवाचक संज्ञा से, मतलब हिंदी में उसको जातिवाचक संज्ञा कहते हैं कि जिसमें मुसलमान भी हैं. I mean, it's time to speak for every community which is under attack, which is facing the siege.
In fact, viewers, even Indore Congress leader Sajjan Verma has also stated that similar to events in Lanka and Bangladesh, people in India, in fact, will also be doing the same. There will be an uprising, and these are another controversial statements that are coming in from the Congress party. Viewers, take a listen in.
का आह्वान किया माइक से कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी, मोहन यादव और कैलाश सुन लो, कल बांग्लादेश की जनता घुस गई प्रधानमंत्री आवास में. 6 महीने पहले श्रीलंका की जनता घुस गई थी प्रधानमंत्री आवास में. अब तुम्हारे घरों में ये घुसेगी जनता कि वो भ्रष्टाचार अब सहन नहीं हो रहा है. देश की जनता से भी हो रही है.
We have breaking news coming in, viewers. An Air Dynasty helicopter has crashed in Nepal's Nuwakot district, and we are getting you visuals from the crash site, viewers, right now. These are exclusive input by Republic TV. First on Republic TV, exclusive footage that has been accessed by Republic TV. This is 20 kilometers from Kathmandu, where this Air Dynasty chopper crashed, viewers. This tragedy that occurred in Nepal. 5 people, viewers, have been unfortunately killed in this chopper crash. And the crash occurred in a forest near Nuwakot district of Nepal. You can see those visuals from that forest, that crash site. The plumes of smoke still coming out from the fragments of that chopper. 5 people, viewers, have been killed. And we do not know yet, officially, there's no information as such on what really caused this crash. Was there any failure, technical failure, any technical snag? What was the reason? Was it weather? We do not know yet, but 5 people have lost their lives in this Air Dynasty chopper crash near Kathmandu, 20 kilometers near Kathmandu. This happened around Nuwakot in Nepal. We'll try and get you more updates from the ground, viewers, but there you have those fragments of people. Of course, the rescue mission is underway. There is a team that the rescue team is right now a part of that operation to in fact pull out the dead bodies of those killed in that chopper crash in near Kathmandu. Exclusive pictures of the crash site on Republic. These are first on Republic TV, viewers. The visuals you're seeing on your screens, and it's an unfortunate incident that has happened. 5 people have lost their lives. We do not know yet what's the reason behind this chopper. And in fact, Surendra Pohyal is joining us on the broadcast for more. 5 people have been killed, Surendra, in this, and right now the operation is underway. Tell us more. What are you picking up? What really happened that this crash actually took place?
The weather in Nepal right now is very cloudy. Even in Kathmandu, all the surrounding hills are now covered by clouds. Monsoon rains, occurring everywhere pretty much. And at around 2 in the afternoon, the helicopter took off from Kathmandu. And minutes later, it lost contact. That resulted in the death of 5 people on board, 1 Nepali pilot, and 4 Chinese passengers bound for the northern district of Rasua, which borders China.
Absolutely. In fact, yes, 5 people have been killed. Do you know where it actually took off from, and any official statement or information that is coming in from the authorities as to is there any investigation that is expected on this?
Yeah, crash investigations are routine. They will happen eventually. A meeting of the cabinet will be underway pretty soon, we have been told, and the meeting will possibly decide the formation of a crash investigation committee. That will happen later. But what happened before the crash was that the helicopter took off from Kathmandu Airport, International Airport. Nearby, there's a helipad. Near Kathmandu Airport, there is a heliport. That's where the helicopter took off from. And then 3 minutes later, it lost contact. Apparently, judging from the crash site, the helicopter appears to have hit the top of Sivapuri Hill near Surya Chaur, which is about 2,500 meters above sea level. Must have been presumably covered by clouds, thick clouds. Probably there was a miscalculation, or probably there was a technical error or something that led to this crash. And that will be clear only after the crash investigation completes.
Absolutely. In fact, this comes just days after another crash was reported from Kathmandu. We've seen that there was Saurya Airlines plane crash that also happened on the 24th of July. 18 lives were also lost. And this comes just few days after. How do you see this in context?
Very unfortunate. 12 days after, the plane crash at Kathmandu Airport, this helicopter crashed. At a hill north of Kathmandu, about 20 kilometers by road. That's where the crash site is. In a thick forest, very fog covered. So Nepal remains one of the most challenging, terrain for airline pilots to fly, and more so in cloudy and foggy weather conditions like monsoon season, when much of the country remains, blanketed. Covered by thick clouds, and there is this element called short takeoff and landing, and they have to follow. And also there is another, technical civil aviation issue called controlled flight into terrain, CFIT. Most of the accidents happen because of CFIT errors, whereby a flying object hits a hill and crashes. So that's where Nepali, pilots need to take extreme precaution over in the days to come. And something looks like something is horribly wrong, and things need to change so that aviation and general transportation across Nepal is safer.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us with those updates coming in from Kathmandu. Viewers, a tragedy occurring in Nepal. A chopper crash 20 kilometers from Kathmandu, and 5 people have been killed. It's been a short break, viewers, but we continue to get you the latest updates and information on the chopper crash in Kathmandu, and more news and updates from the country and across the globe.
Again, middle class stands to benefit from this as well. Sir, in specific, in the last 2 years, substantial relief has been given to the middle class. I may point out a few things, sir, that while most developed countries were increasing personal income taxes during the COVID-19 crisis, Prime Minister Modi's direction to me, and I've said this earlier also in this House, I'd like to repeat now. Prime Minister Modi's direction to me was totally in contrast with what was happening in developed countries. No tax on our citizen to meet the COVID expenditure. And I would strongly request the honorable members to look back at what happened between 2020, 21, 22, 23. We have not increased the tax at all, sir. Effective tax on an income of 15 lakh rupees, I'm taking it as an example, effective tax on an income of 15 lakhs was reduced to 10% in 2023 and has been further reduced this year as well. So I want to make this point clear, sir. Again, I would strongly believe this would certainly help the middle class. Again, sir, I would like to remind through you, sir, the August House, that from the days of tax terrorism, when we were accused in 2014, saying do something immediately because tax terrorism is affecting the middle class and small businesses, and the rent-seeking approach of a few in the service had really hurt many of the taxpayers, and this was one of the biggest challenges before this government. Earlier in 2014, again in 2019, when we're trying to bring in the faceless system, we have moved away from those days, sir, because we brought in the faceless system, which is taxpayer friendly, infused confidence in the taxpayer, and any inquiry on the tax could be responded via email or messages. Besides this, sir, Vivad Se Vishwas schemes were brought in, as a result of which, periodically, again this time also we've come up with the Vivad Se Vishwas, and as a result of which, periodically, pending litigation and demands have all been sorted out. Relief was brought in to a wide range of taxpayers, largely, data shows, largely the beneficiaries are MSMEs, individuals, and small companies. I would think this is also the segment which is the middle class segment. So they have found relief because of the Vivad Se Vishwas. So furthermore, small, old and petty unverified tax demands of 90 lakh taxpayers were totally removed from the records as announced in the interim budget of 2024. ये घोषणा 2024 interim budget में हुआ था, मगर उसका असर अभी दिखने लगे कि 90 लाख टैक्स पेयर्स को हम राहत देने के लिए उस समय घोषणा की। 1.1 करोड़ एंट्रीज इससे निकला रिकॉर्ड से बाहर।
New interim government takes shape in Bangladesh. Military proxy Mohammad Yunus to lead Bangladesh. Former Deputy NSA Pankaj Saran breaks it down in tonight's edition of This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m. today.
এটা একটা ঐতিহাসিক ঘটনা, যেহেতু একজন নোবেল বিজয়ীকে অর্থ আত্মসাতের অভিযোগ এনেছে, জালিয়াতির অভিযোগ এনেছে, মানি লন্ডারিং এর অভিযোগ এনেছে। আমি একা নই, আমরা আরও 7 জন যারা সারা জীবন কঠোর পরিশ্রম করেছে গরিব মানুষের জন্য। এরা কোনো চাকরি করতে এখানে আসে নাই, তারা তাদের জীবন দানের জন্য এখানে এসছে। তারাও এই অর্থ আত্মসাৎ, জালিয়াতি।
New interim government takes shape in Bangladesh. Military proxy Mohammad Yunus to lead Bangladesh. Former Deputy NSA Pankaj Saran breaks it down in tonight's edition of This Is Exclusive at 7 p.m. today.
Blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
It's 5 p.m. and you're watching Live and Breaking with me, Shavin Sen. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our focus on that crushing defeat, and also the bigger question now emerging with what's really happening in Bangladesh. You already have politicians here in New Delhi hoping that a repeat of Bangladesh really takes place in India. All this and much more on this edition of Live and Breaking. But first, let's take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. By Royal Global University, Northeast can't wait. Pado, kuch bano. Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100 grams overweight.
Vinesh disqualification is very shocking. The Wrestling Federation of India has filed an appeal to UWW to consider the decision to disqualify Vinesh, and IOA is following that up in the strongest possible manner.
Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge a strong protest. He also dials the IOA president and asks her to explore all legal options.
Have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform,
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform.
Please. I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent and shameful Bangladesh comparison. Congress leader Salman Khurshid ducks and evades our questions.
I was in the parliament, Sachi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to anti-India tirade by Indie bloc. RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies Shaheen Bagh's turn. NDA government to table bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Air Dynasty helicopter crashes at Shivpuri in Nuwakot in Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway. Presenting by Royal Global University, Northeast can't wait. Pado, kuch bano. Starting this edition with some breaking news now coming in. 4 Chinese tourists were among the 5 killed in Nepal on Wednesday when a helicopter crashed in the mountains northwest region of Kathmandu. Police have recovered 5 dead bodies from the crash site in Ward number 7 of the Shivpuri rural municipality, Nuwakot. In fact, details that are now emerging. Nepal-based Air Dynasty helicopter 9NAJD was en route to Rasua from Kathmandu when it crashed. The helicopter departed from Kathmandu around 1:54 this afternoon and was en route when it crashed. Now, according to the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, a Prabhu Air helicopter, which is 9LANL, was dispatched to the crash site immediately after the incident. Now, what you see on your screens, these are the first images that we have accessed of the chopper crash that took place a while back. We'll also try and go across to our reporter on the ground, getting you the latest details, while we also play out to those images of the rescue operation that is underway. First, to you to just get a sense of what's really happening on the ground in terms of the rescue operation.
Rescue operations are pretty much complete by now, according to Nepal police. They have pulled out reportedly 5 bodies from the crash site, which remain unfortunately very charred and destroyed, burnt by the fire that the helicopter caught on impact at Sivapuri Hill, at Surya Chaur in Sivapuri National Park, which is 20 kilometers north of Kathmandu.
Surendra, just in terms of the chopper service that was being provided, we're given to understand that this happens to be the second such a crash that has taken place of an Air Dynasty chopper. What more details are you picking up?
More than plane crashes, chopper crashes in Nepal are very common. Actually more common, unfortunately, because they provide the much needed lifeline to connect, Kathmandu or urban Nepal with the Himalayan region, where trust road network is non-existent almost in many parts. To connect those inaccessible remote areas, helicopters have been doing a great job. Also in the rescue of mountaineering, mountaineers in mountains like Everest, Mount Amadablam, Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, all those areas. So they're doing a great job, providing transportation service, even air ambulance service, emergency rescue for mountaineering, even women, suffering from pregnancy-related complications. They are brought to urban areas for medical treatment and all that. And for all these reasons, helicopters are mobilized. They fly. Dozens and dozens of helicopter flights take place on a daily basis from Kathmandu to other areas and from our other urban areas to other inaccessible areas.
Well, so thank you very much, Surendra, for getting us the latest details as far as the crash near Kathmandu region is concerned, a story that we'll be tracking very closely as the rescue operations are still underway. Shifting focus now to the other top story that we're getting to you tonight. This was something that we had already informed, ladies and gentlemen, just about a few days ago when those first images really came in from Dhaka. Anarchy on the streets of Dhaka, and what we saw was mobocracy on the streets of not just Dhaka but several other cities. Taking a cue from that, you've already had politicians here, Indian political parties, who are now calling for a repeat of what's really happening in Bangladesh. In fact, Congress leader Salman Khurshid says that what has happened in Bangladesh could potentially happen in India as well. Now, despite appearances of normalcy on the surface, and while the Congress essentially has distanced itself from the statement, Republic once again confronted the leader on his remarks. Now, there is no remorse in the statement that he has made. So what is it that Salman Khurshid really had to say? He says that there is a possibility that this could be repeated here in India, referring to the mobocracy that we see in Bangladesh. Let's first listen in to what our reporter Soumya had to ask Salman Khurshid, and listen in to the response that he gives. He says that whatever he has said, this is out in public domain and not in private.
Khurshid, what do you have to say about his statement? What do you have to say? Your own party. Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this, why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Khurshid, what do you have to say about his statement? Your own party. Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this, why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Well, this is not an isolated remark that has been made by Salman Khurshid. Just like him, you've had other Congress leaders from other states making a similar comment. And the opposition parties have also, somewhere down the line, supported the statement that has been made by Salman Khurshid. Take a look at some of the responses that have come in.
Ms. Chaudhary, now one leader of your own party, Salman Khurshid, has said that what has happened in Bangladesh can happen in India as well. Do you agree with the statement?
See, politics is always a fluid state and things are very volatile. So anything is possible anywhere in the world. I can't predict what happens in India, but it is a matter of great concern what is happening in Bangladesh, and we are keeping a close watch on the situation, and let us hope that very soon things will stabilize. Anything in India's neighborhood, when there is an upheaval, is a matter of concern for India.
Salman Khurshid has stated that what has happened in Bangladesh can happen in India as well. What's your take on it?
That is his individual opinion. Let us see. Congress President and the leader of opposition has told that Bangladesh is a sensitive issue, and we all need to be very sensible on reacting on the Bangladesh issue.
No, I don't think that is going to happen in India. Our pillars of democracy are very strong comparing Bangladesh, number one. Number two, anywhere in the world, wherever it is, minority interest should be protected, whether it is in India or in Bangladesh or in Pakistan. We stand for that. So, but at the same time, our rulers should learn something from the developments of Bangladesh. Our rulers, our ministers should learn something from the developments of Bangladesh, because autocracy cannot continue like this wherever in the world. But I don't think that Salman Khurshid's statement is in the right direction. It's not going to happen in India.
I am not commenting on the statement of Salman Khurshid because it is a controversial statement. I don't want to comment on it. But the point is, Bangladesh issue, we have to watch it very carefully. The national interest has to be protected. The neighboring country disturbance, definitely it will be having concerns about our country. So in considering it in our mind, definitely we have to be very cautious about dealing with the Bangladesh issue.
Well, in fact, it's just not an isolated statement, as we have pointed out. The Congress party finds itself in a catch-22 situation. The Congress is now trying to distance itself from the statement that has been made by Salman Khurshid, starting from K.C. Venugopal to Manikam Tagore, who have once again made a comment saying that this is a personal remark that has been made by Salman Khurshid. If that's the case, why exactly no action has been taken against Salman Khurshid, who has been saying that this could be a repeat? What is he really trying to indicate at? Let's listen in to what Manikam Tagore had to say.
Salman Khurshid. Salman Khurshid has stated that what has happened in Bangladesh can happen in India as well. What's your take on it?
That is his individual opinion. Let us see. Congress President and the leader of opposition has told that Bangladesh is a sensitive issue, and we all need to be very sensible on reacting on the Bangladesh issue.
Well, the Waqf Amendment Bill is all set to be tabled in the Lok Sabha tomorrow around 11 o'clock in the morning. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju will be introducing the Waqf Amendment Bill in the Parliament. Now, the bill is likely to be sent to the Standing Committee for further discussion on this entire issue. Deputy Leader in the Lok Sabha, Gaurav Gogoi, says that the bill should be sent for Standing Committee for further consideration. Let me also now take you through some of the details that is emerging of the amended bill that has been brought in. Let's put out the details of the bill that is going to be put, or rather tabled, in the Lok Sabha. One of the key factors as far as this proposed bill is concerned is with regards to a unified Waqf management. More importantly, it's the collector which has been given a further right in terms of determining whether at all it's a Waqf property or not. It excludes Waqf by user concept, ensures women's inheritance right, because remember earlier there was no inheritance right that was essentially given. So this is the proposed amendment that has been brought in. Now the role of the commissioner has now been, survey commissioner has been given it to the collector. So it's the bureaucrat which takes the final call as far as a piece of land that has been identified for the Waqf. The final decision lies with the collector too. So these are some of the key differences that have been brought in, the changes that have been brought in from the original act. But there is a lot of politics that is being played over this entire matter, fear-mongering that the rights of the Muslims have been taken away and perhaps diluting it for those who have been running Waqf. Questions have also been raised about the manner in which a Waqf board has been operating for several years put together. Remember, they happen to be the third largest landowner in the country. This is after the Indian Army and the railways. You have Waqf being the third largest landowner. Let's also take you through some of the reactions that are now coming in from the Parliament on this entire matter.
प्रमोद जी, कल आ सकता है वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल, कांग्रेस का इस पर क्या टेक है सर?
मेरा सीधा सा ये कहना है कि पहले जो उससे पार्टीज हैं उनसे बात कर लें, अपने दोस्तों से बात कर लें, नीतीश और राव साहब से।
समाजवादी पार्टी नेता रामगोपाल यादव इस वक्त हमारे साथ है। रामगोपाल जी, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल आने वाला है, इस पर समाजवादी पार्टी का क्या टेक है?
पूरी तरह इसका विरोध करेगी, पूरी ताकत से, संसद को भी नहीं चलने देंगे जरूरत पड़ी तो।
Let me also bring in our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor, who's joining us on this broadcast to break it down for all our viewers. What does this essentially mean? Number one, in terms of the proposed amendment, and how did it all start? Whether at all the government is trying to dilute, as the allegations have been levelled by the opposition parties, the powers that were given to the Waqf board, and were they sweeping powers that were essentially given to the Waqf board in terms of identification of a land, and more importantly, they have been the custodian of several parcels of land. Let me bring in my colleague and our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor, who is joining us on this broadcast. Abhishek, one major argument that has been made by the opposition parties is that they're trying to dilute the powers that were enjoyed by the Waqf board. Just for the benefit of our viewers, what are the proposed changes, number one? Number two, how does that really impact the powers that were given to the Waqf board in terms of survey and identification of land parcel?
Well, Shawan, there are three aspects on which the amendments are being brought in. The number could be anything between 30 to 40, but the three broad aspects on which these amendments are going to focus. One is gender representation in terms of gender balance on the National Council and the state Waqf boards. Also, the process which is followed to identify what properties constitute a Waqf property, and then of course the litigation, because almost 120 plus writ petitions pending in various high courts and even the Supreme Court on the powers of Waqf board to identify properties and certain aspects of the Waqf Act itself. And that is the reason why this omnibus amendment bill is being brought in, most likely to be introduced in the Parliament in the Lok Sabha tomorrow. And some of those amendments, for example, on gender representation by way of at least 2 women on the National Council of the Waqf, owe their origin to a very proper secular body like the Sachar Committee, as also, of course, a joint parliamentary committee, the 9th JPC, which had recommended some of the amendments. Also, Shawan, as a build-up to this bill, the Ministry of Minority Affairs has had consultations across the country, from Delhi to Mumbai to Bengaluru to Lucknow, and the suggestions made by those state Waqf boards themselves have been incorporated. So it's not that any kind of agenda or political motivation which is behind. It's just the manner in which the Waqf Act has functioned since 1995 when it was brought in. A review of that was put in place and the suggestions taken from the community, the Muslim community, because that's the community for which the Waqf Act is intended to be. And then, of course, the existing Waqf boards and, of course, organizations like bodies like the Joint Parliamentary Committee and the Sachar Committee, which have seen all those suggestions being clubbed and vetted by the Legal Affairs Department, the Law Ministry, and then, of course, the bill coming up tomorrow.
Just a quick question also, Abhishek, with regards to the survey powers. As we understand, that has now been transferred from the survey commissioner to the collector. Effectively, the bureaucrat has far more powers that have been given. What's the logic, the rationale that has been given by the government on this major change that has been brought in?
Well, the reason that is given for making the district magistrate oversee at the district level the decisions of a Waqf is because remember, the district magistrate is also the revenue topmost revenue official in the district. In fact, the district magistrate is also called collector in many districts even now, because district magistrate essentially works under the revenue department of the respective state governments. They have all the revenue records of the land under their jurisdiction, which is the district. And so if a Waqf claims a particular property as a Waqf property, the revenue records are there with the district magistrate and the district administration. And that is why this oversight mechanism being introduced, so that the litigation part which I was mentioning, Shawan, is taken care of with some kind of vetting going into these claims that are made. And we have seen this very important clip going viral today from the Madhya Pradesh High Court, where the justice is so frustrated that he's seen telling the lawyer that tomorrow you can claim the Taj Mahal or the Lal Killa. That does not mean that Taj Mahal and Lal Killa becomes a Waqf property. And this was in the instance of a monument which is declared so as a national monument, and Waqf in Madhya Pradesh was claiming it to be their property. And that is the reason why the district magistrate's oversight has been added, Shaman.
Well, thank you very much for putting this into perspective. Well, it's expected that there would be fireworks in the parliament tomorrow when the proposed amendment is brought in. But as the government says that this is basically far more encompassing, and there is a representation of women in the Waqf board, which did not happen in the past. Let's also now take you through the other stories that we are tracking at this hour. After the exchange of fire with terrorists yesterday evening, a search operation was launched by security forces in the Khane, the area of Basant Nagar. Anti-terror operation in Udhampur's Basantgarh has entered its 14th hour as the Indian forces continue to engage a group of 4 Pakistani terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed. Vice Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Amarpreet Singh welcomed German Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Ingo Gerhardt at the launch of exercise Tarang Shakti 24. The event featured a spectacular aerial rendezvous with the participants flying the Made in India light combat aircraft. A special team consisting 6 trained army personnel, 4 special operation group of Kerala police, 2 forest officers and a dog squad leave for the Sunrise Valley of Sujipada waterfalls in Wayanad to carry out a search operation.
उनका continuation of yesterday's heli drop operation. Today also we are sending a team. Today we are including a cadaver dog and its handler. So total including the cadaver dog, it is a 13 members team. So we have spotted some specific locations where we wanted to search, and we wanted to go some more downstream. Yesterday for approximately 4 kilometers was covered. Today some more area we are trying to cover, but since some area and it's difficult area, we have to search also. So we'll try to maximum cover downstream area.
Students' protest continues in Old Rajinder Nagar over the death of 3 students due to waterlogging in the basement of a coaching institute on 27th of July. Despite incessant rains and waterlogging, the protest rages on, demanding action and accountability over the blatant apathy. Water entered Lord Hanuman's temple in Prayagraj as the water level in Ganga and Yamuna river rose. The rivers are swelling amid incessant rains that are lashing states across the country. Star pistol shooter Manu Bhaker received a rousing welcome after landing back home. Manu is back in India after her historic feat of winning 2 medals in a single edition of the Olympic Games. Despite the morning drizzle, hundreds of people waited at the airport long before her arrival, giving her and her coach Jaspal Rana an enthusiastic welcome.
The Waqf Board Amendment Bill 2024 is here with lots of changes from the existing law, right from the name to the administrative roles. Stay tuned as we bring in more details on this from Ground Zero. We will be back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
The anti-terror operation in Udhampur's Basantkar has entered its 14th hour. Indian forces continue to engage a group of 4 Pakistani terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed. The operation, which began last evening, focuses on the Khanid area of Basantkar. The operation is being carried out by Northern and Western commands of the Indian Army, alongside special forces and local police from Kathua and Udhampur. Officials say gunshots were heard in Basantkar, where joint search parties of the police and the army moved deep inside the densely forested area to track down the terrorists. This operation follows a series of terror attacks in Jammu, including the killing of a village defense group member on April 28 by terrorists. While no casualties have been reported yet, reinforcements have rushed to the area to track down and neutralize the hold-up terrorists.
Wrestler Vinesh Phogat loses the chance of getting an Olympic gold just for being 100 grams overweight.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100 grams overweight.
Vinesh disqualification is very shocking. The Wrestling Federation of India has filed an appeal to UWW to consider the decision to disqualify Vinesh, and IOA is following that up in the strongest possible manner.
Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge a strong protest. He also dials the IOA president and asks her to explore all legal options.
To be, if you made such a comment in a public platform,
you should not be going anywhere people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salmanji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform.
Please. I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent and shameful Bangladesh comparison. Congress leader Khurshid ducks and evades our questions.
I was in the parliament. Shashi was in the parliament. We had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to an anti-India tirade by Indie bloc. RJD leader Manoj Jha glorifies Shaheen Bagh stir. NDA government to table a bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Air Dynasty helicopter crashes at Shivpuri in Nuwakot in Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway.
But of course, undoubtedly she is disappointed. This is her third Olympics. She was really keen to try and do something for the country. But because of this, 100 grams has been disqualified.
Dr. Badiwala, this is Viman Mohan for the I just wanted to ask, because she has fought in this victory earlier also, and this happened to all across the world. She's not the only athlete or only wrestler who has come through this process. Has it happened, I mean this time, has it happened for the first time with her, Or do you have any precautionary measures so that it doesn't happen to other wrestlers? I mean, somebody has to take some responsibility alone.
See, I think we need to remember that every human being is a little different. Every human being is going to be a little different from weight loss. Males are different from females. Age makes a difference. All this makes a difference. What's also important to remember is that usually you have a normal or a natural weight, and that's your normal natural weight, and you can cut that down. And typically till February of 24, she was participating in the 53 kilogram weight. So normally an athlete or a wrestler like her will be about 55, 56 and will go to the 53 weight, and that's the normal sort of process. And she was very comfortable with that process. But from February, because that category had already been occupied, and as you know, if only one wrestler from a country can go into one weight category. So since that weight category was already taken by another wrestler, she had two options. Either she cuts her weight down tremendously and tries to go to the 50 category, or she goes a weight up. But if she goes a weight up, she's going to be wrestling with much stronger athletes. And she felt that that would be of no point because she's not going to be successful there. So after considering everything, and she took quite a lot of time to decide which would be the best option for her, she and her team took the call that they're going to go for the 50 kilogram weight category. And I think it was a good decision because, as you can see, she beat the reigning champion in that first round, and she was able to achieve that. Now, since February that she's been participating in this 50 kilogram weight category, this of course happens. Now, athletes when they're training, you don't want to keep them at 50 because if they are below their natural weight, there's a high chance of injuries taking place. So this is a sport with a lot of injuries and you have to really fine-tune and balance it. So your weight is slightly higher when you're training, but when the process of competition comes, then you drop your weight. And you drop your weight and it's relatively easier to do it for that first weigh in because you have enough time for that. But it depends also on how your bouts go on that first day. If you had just one bout, then it would have been no problem at all because then you have enough time to recover. But if you have had to go through 3 bouts and each of those bouts is difficult and you have to hydrate yourself, otherwise you're going to collapse out there, then you're going to have to do everything that you can do to participate well that day and then take the next challenge, which is, okay, now I need to lose my weight. And the time was short, but of course we're still going to do everything possible within our means. Within the limits of medical safety, we're going to do everything possible to cut that weight down. So that process started immediately. I think she did everything that she could. She didn't have one morsel of food. She took, almost no sips of water. And her entire team, which has been doing this in the past, was taking care of this whole process. Of course, all of us were there to support her and to just medically make sure that everything's going off well. If we had a little more time, I'm sure we'd have had it. Unfortunately, time just fell short and we just didn't have enough time to get that 100 grams out of her.
So when you say medical
yes.
Parameters,
yes.
How close was she? And was there a point where you had to step in and say, I can't, or we can't push her anymore?
See,
was it close to that?
Well, we are all human beings and we have a limit and a capability of doing some amount of exercise. So when you have to sweat it out, if any of you exercise, you'll know that most of us will exercise for an hour or 2 hours. A really good athlete may train for 3 or 4 hours. But if you have to try and sweat it out for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, there's a limit to human endurance. So you're trying to sweat it out. You're trying to do it with a lot of other equipment that makes you sweat. You've got your heat covers and all that going on. And so we have to keep monitoring her. So our main aim was to monitor her and make sure that she's perfectly all right because medically that comes first. Participation, of course, is important, but at the same time, medically she needs to be okay. And so while medically monitoring her, fortunately, everything was okay. This is a process that she's done day in, day out since many, many years. She's been an Olympian. This is her 3rd Olympics. She's been doing this process. So she's been, accustomed to this. And fortunately, medically, of course, everything was okay.
Ma'am, there's been a lot of talk about appeals and protests. The WFI has also written to you, WW, but we are just 4 hours away from the final bout starting. Is realistically there any chance of any sort of or change in the decision that has already taken place of Vinesh being disqualified?
Actually, they'll go on rules only, but we have done from our part, we have done our best through through that wrestling federation, and then even I am going to meet the World Wrestling Federation president also just now. Doing our best.
Ma'am, you said initially that you have spent time with her, but how is she doing mentally? Mentally, how is she? Has she sort of been able to get back to how she was, or it's very devastating for her, and you have psychologists and everyone around her at the moment?
So I met her and she was so strong, na? That is why she could do there, and even from there also she's strong, but she's done her best, I think, to reduce the weight, what I felt best, but even for hair also they have cut, no? So
डॉक्टर पादरीवाला, और हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि आगे ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो? किसी को तो रिस्पांसिबिलिटी लेनी पड़ेगी.
See, every human body is different, and you can try the processes again and again and again, and that's what training is. कि अगर आप train कर रहे हो, you train yourself, you train yourself, you train yourself, so that when the day of participation comes, you do well. So the same way, a supports team also does the same process. They train the body, train the body, train the body, that every time, you could achieve that same result. But as you know, many people train so well, they achieve their personal best in training, but when it comes to participation, sometimes the body may not be, for many variable reasons, able to achieve that, because of how different the human body is for everyone else. So the same thing here, that you can do that whole process of weight loss multiple times, and multiple times that whole process may have worked. But if time is sometimes short, it may not necessarily work. So what are her options? So her options are that when she is competing these difficult bouts, she doesn't take fluid and she doesn't take something that's going to give her energy and lose the semi-final, or think that let me get my semi-final done. I need enough strength, enough hydration at least to go through my semi-final bout, and then I'll work towards what comes after that. And so that's the approach that she took, and medically that's the correct approach. And I think that if we just had a little more time, unfortunately we just didn't have that time. So if say, in the future rules were made where you have enough time, it's not 12 hours that you have to do a weigh-in, but you have say 16 hours or 18 hours, I think it becomes easier for us as medical support staff to achieve that goal.
Doc, what's the condition? Has she never encountered a situation like this before? Would Vinesh have known her? I mean, was there a situation that Vinesh didn't know her body very well? How much weight she could cut in the space of 12 hours? Or did this just come about suddenly?
I think whenever something like this happens, this has happened last night. We've been up right from 10 o'clock when this process started, and all of us have been doing this whole thing throughout the night. I think it takes some time before we can analyze the situation, audit, and try and see what are the processes that we can do that are going to make it better. This right now is the gold standard, but is the gold standard good enough? Can we do something better? I think we'll need to assess, analyze, and we haven't had the time to do that as yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Raj sir, thank you so much.
Guys, take your mic, please.
Thank you for your support of Olympic sport, and thank you for standing by that.
Well, that was the medical officer in charge of the team, the medical support team, now clarifying as to what really transpired. Let me also bring in my colleague Rakshita, who's joining us from the newsroom. There is now some clarity as to what really happened. Remember, in the category that she was basically contesting, now that requires a different weight altogether, which means a change from her base weight. It turns out, Rakshita, some of the big takeaways from what the medical officer is indicating. One, the change in the category. That in itself perhaps led to some changes, and the fact that she was forcing herself to be in that very weight category. Just walk us through some of the details that you're now picking up for the clarity of our viewers, because we're talking about just 100-gram change that has resulted in Vinesh Phogat losing out.
Absolutely, the IOA has now made it clear that it was maybe just more than a few grams. It could have been just 1.5 kilograms that also she could have put on. And a key point that might not be always highlighted is that every individual's body is different, and it all depends on the age and also the gender. And of course, a woman's body will also go through several hormonal issues, and different hormonal cycles, which also, in a way impacts the weight for every individual. She, of course, is an athlete. She must be aware, her staff must be aware of those things also, how they play out, because these are not, newcomers. They are, of course, been playing for a decade now. So, of course, there are things that could have been taken into account. What really went wrong? Maybe it was absolute, cruel twist of fate in the end that really happened, because what we are learning is that right from cutting her hair to, in fact, even attempting to draw out blood, even trying to dehydrate her, sweat it out, relentless jogging, skipping, cycling, everything, all the cardio exercises were done, were carried out, that she sweats in more because the water weight also plays a lot of part. The dehydration is something that many of the wrestlers, even boxers, go through because they have to fit in a particular category. We've seen that happening. In fact, 3 more Olympians in this edition of the Olympics in Paris have been disqualified. All 3 have been men who have been disqualified in various weight categories because of them being overweight. This weight cut, there are 2 rounds, and as per the United Wrestling rules, the World Federation, there is no scope that it can be reversed now. Once you have failed that category test, you are out, and you can't even get a bronze medal or a silver medal or anything. You in fact can't be even ranked now. So that is the most unfortunate part. 1.5 kilograms, if that is the figure, because there is different figures that are coming in, 100 grams to 1.5 to 2.5 also. These are the different figures that are doing the rounds now. But, the chief medical officer has assured that every attempt was made to cut it down, and we are sure that it was done this time around. We've seen that it was the biggest contingent in the sense that the staff was bigger than ever. There were sports psychologists that were sent in, there were special dietitians that were assigned, there were special, physios that were assigned this time so that India can better its tally, and we were just an inch closer to another medal, history being created, but it could not happen. And if we talk about the rules, it's very clear how there has been a constant weight cut phase that Vinesh has been going through, but in the last 7 months she went from 60 kilograms, as you mentioned, she had changed her category. That's also what the CMO is pointing out. She was 60 kilograms. After that she cut it down to 55, and then she decided to compete for 50. Now that, of course, was up to the federation and her staff. They decided on to which category is she fitting in, and she should be playing that so that maybe she can do better. And she was doing better. She has defeated the world number 1. She has defeated the reigning Olympic champion, the gold medalist, and how everybody was in awe of her 3 bouts yesterday. And now talking about the 3 bouts, she also tried to replenish her, because every wrestler, it's not about Vinesh, it's every wrestler will go through these qualification round, the round of 16, and then of course the semi-final. And that was, of course, that is taxing on the body. You will try and
Well, taking images now coming in of the CBI team reaching Old Rajinder Nagar, where the investigation is now being carried out. Remember, the death of 3 coaching class students resulted in a massive uproar, with the demand now being made that those who are being accountable to be brought to book. Remember, after the hearing that took place in the Supreme Court, the case was basically transferred from the Delhi Police to the Central Bureau of Investigation. This after the Delhi Police was pulled up by the Supreme Court with regards to the investigation that was carried out. Remember, the only arrest that was made by the Delhi Police was that of an SUV driver who was passing through the coaching center, and he was held responsible for flooding the basement of the coaching center. This after the Delhi Police argued that because of the speeding vehicle, the basement had also flooded. That, remember, did not really go down well with the Supreme Court pulling up the Delhi Police. What you see right now on your screens, these are the live images coming in from Old Rajinder Nagar in the national capital, where the CBI team has reached they have begun the investigation. As you can see, these are the latest images coming in first on Republic TV. We'll try and see if we can also get a reporter who's present there at Old Rajendra Nagar, getting you the latest details of the investigation that is being carried out by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Remember, this has also put the spotlight on several coaching centers operating in Old Rajendra Nagar for the UPSC examinations, cutting corners, and the fact that several of the building plan approvals were not really taken. What is also being deliberated upon is that whether at all the coaching centers, in order to make most of the area from where they are operating, they have been flouting the building plan rules and regulations. This too was basically argued in the court by the Delhi police and a few others. Let's also quickly take you through some of the details that are emerging right now of the investigation that is being carried out. This is the first visit that is now being made by the CBI team in Old Rajendra Nagar as they continue with the investigation after the instructions that were given by the Supreme Court. It is the special crime team of the Central Bureau of Investigation that is carrying out these details, the investigation that is being carried out. We'll try and see if we can also go across to our reporter, getting you the live images of the CBI team as they carry out the investigation. Also getting you some more breaking news now coming in as the situation is developing in Bangladesh. We get you this latest with regards to the interim government that is to be formed tomorrow. This are images coming in of the military proxy Muhammad Yunus, who is now heading to Bangladesh. Remember, he is part of the interim government after the former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled from the country amid a mass uprising against her rule. Questions are also now being raised about the role of the opposition party, the BNP, as well as Jamaat, and whether at all this was a spontaneous students' movement or was it political in nature only to uproot Sheikh Hasina. What you are seeing right now is Lomar Laureate, also a military proxy, who's now heading back to Bangladesh. Remember, he's also the founder of Grameen Bank. He was accorded the Nobel Prize for the microfinancing work that he was doing in Bangladesh. These are images now coming in as Muhammad Yunus leaves for Bangladesh. He is expected to reach tomorrow. An announcement has already been made by the Bangladesh Army that the interim government would be sworn in tomorrow, headed by Muhammad Yunus. A lot of questions also being raised about the fact that Muhammad Yunus, who's been vocal about what was happening in Bangladesh, was he actually working in cohorts with the Bangladesh Army to uproot Sheikh Hasina? Remember, a legitimate government that was in place headed by Sheikh Hasina did actually face some turbulent times, and in particular what we saw after the West expressed their displeasure Well, we've had a heartbreak today with Vinesh Phogat out of the competition, but there has still been a silver lining, ladies and gentlemen. After winning the country 2 bronze medals at the ongoing Paris Olympics, ace Indian shooter Manu Bhaker arrived at the Delhi airport to a rousing public reception. She also spoke to the media and telling Republic about what really went into the preparation. Take a look at this report.
After making a billion Indians proud with her spectacular performance at the Paris Olympics, ace shooter Manu Bhaker arrived in Delhi to a rapturous applause. Manu Bhaker shone at the Paris Games, winning 2 bronze medals in the 10-meter air pistol and the 10-meter air pistol mixed team events. Manu was treated to a petal shower as she arrived at the airport. Loud chants rang out and drum beats rolled as Manu flaunted her 2 bronze medals.
बहुत बहुत खुशी हो रही है जिस तरीके का स्वागत किया गया एयरपोर्ट पे भी और यहाँ होटल में भी लीला पैलेस। मुझे बेहद खुशी है कि लोगों से इतना सारा प्यार मिल रहा है और इतना सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं और मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आगे भी ये यूं ही बरकरार रहेगा। मैं भी यूं ही मेहनत करती रहूँगी और अपना बेस्ट देती रहूँगी।
Manu Bhaker's coach, Jaspal Rana, was also treated to a warm reception by a delirious airport crowd.
गर्व की बात है कि एक भारत की 22 साल की मतलब छोटी बच्ची है जिसने देश के लिए इतिहास रच दिया। तो आई थिंक इट्स ऑनर एंड आई एम द मोस्ट आई थिंक प्राउडेस्ट पर्सन दैट कि ओलंपिक वाला सपना जो मेरा रह गया था इसके माध्यम से पूरा हुआ।
The Jhajjar girl narrowly missed out on a medal in the 25-meter women's pistol event, finishing 4th.
Well, it has been a great show for me. I have been shooting really well. These past, I think, 5-6 days have been amazing. I shot really well in all the qualifications. Then the final rounds were also great. So 2 bronzes and 1 4th position. So I think I'm happy for now, but need to work even harder in the future.
Though she fell short of striking gold at the Paris Olympics, she gladdened a billion Indian hearts with her haul at the greatest sporting event on the planet. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Indies call for anarchy. Hindus death trapped in Bangladesh.
What constituted Shaheen Bagh? I was in the parliament. Shashi was in the parliament. We had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
Does Indy want a Bangladesh template in India? This and more on Across the Republic at 6 p.m.
All right, let's cut straight to pictures coming in of Vinesh Phogat. These are pictures coming in from Paris. And PT Usha, the president of the Indian Olympics Association, she's with the Vinesh Phogat. Earlier we had PT Usha telling us that Vinesh Phogat is doing fine despite the heartbreak. And of course the nation stands with the champion, and PT Usha there on behalf of the rest of the country. And remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke to PT Usha on what really happened, how the events unfolded, leading to disqualification of Vinesh Phogat and the massive heartbreak that has engulfed the nation. These are pictures coming in of PT Usha meeting Vinesh Phogat. On that note, we move on.
Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. We have seen the announcement that Prime Minister Hasina resigned from her position and departed Bangladesh. We are monitoring the situation carefully. The United States stands with the people of Bangladesh. We urge all parties to refrain from further violence. Too many lives have...
Indies call for anarchy. Hindus death trapped in Bangladesh.
What constituted Shaheen Bagh? I was in the parliament. Shashi was in the parliament. We had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
Does Indy want a Bangladesh template in India? This and more on Across the Republic at 6 p.m.
human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
Good evening and welcome, friends. At least 44 amendments in the Waqf Act and a new bill to be introduced in Parliament tomorrow. Also, top-level security move in Jammu and Kashmir with massive anti-terror operations going on the Jammu side in Udhampur. And, of course, massive heartbreak for 1.4 billion people as Vinesh Phogat is disqualified for just 100 grams of extra weight. She was to contest in 50 kg category. She was 100 grams more. All that and more. Let me get you the headlines first.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
No want to enter India. Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100 grams overweight. Meanwhile, PT Usha meets Vinesh at the hospital.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform.
Please. I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent on shameful Bangladesh comparison, Congress leader Salman Khurshid ducks and evades questions.
I was in the parliament. Sachi was in the parliament. We had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to enter India tirade by Indie Bloc RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies Shaheen Bagh star. NDA government to table bill seeking amendments to the Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Pak High Commission sends a ton of mangoes to 7 Indian MPs. Pak Congress Punhomi exposed. And forces launch search operations in Basantgarh and Udhampur. High alert in cordon of places.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano.
In a massive heartbreak for the nation and, of course, Vinesh Phogat, the ace grappler was shockingly disqualified from the Paris Olympics for being overweight. The decision by the International Olympics Committee came just hours before Vinesh was to go for a historic gold in the final of the women's 50 kg category. While political leaders led by Prime Minister Modi came out in her support, some claimed a conspiracy. What the detailed report on what it's about.
Crushing the hopes of a billion cheering Indians, star wrestler and one of the country's top medal prospects, Vinesh Phogat, was disqualified from the Paris Olympics. Vinesh, who was gunning for gold in the women's 50 kg category final, was disqualified for being overweight. The ace grappler was deemed to have gone marginally over the weight corresponding to the category she was competing in during the customary weigh-in before the big final. It was further revealed that Vinesh was admitted to a hospital for dehydration after trying to work off her weight overnight. As gloom descended on the nation, Prime Minister Modi came out in support of the champion grappler and tried to lift her spirits. President Draupadi Murmu also stood in Vinesh's support, saying that she embodies the indefatigable spirit of Indian women. Union Home Minister Amit Shah backed Vinesh to bounce back from the setback. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi also conveyed her commiserations to Vinesh, adding that she will remain a champion. Leaders across the political aisle came out in support, while some claimed a conspiracy in her disqualification.
ये बहुत दुख की बात है। इसमें क्या है कि ओलंपिक के कुछ रूल नियम हैं, उनके अनुसार क्या है कि हर दिन जिस दिन भी कुश्ती होगी, आपकी बाउट होगी, उस दिन आपको ना वेट चेक कराना पड़ेगा, उसी दिन वेट होगा आपका जिस दिन, यानी कि कुश्ती से 2 घंटे पहले आपका वेट कैटेगरी, जिस कैटेगरी में आप लड़ रहे हो उसमें आपको वेट देना पड़ेगा। ये ओलंपिक के नियम है।
और आज हम इंतज़ार कर रहे थे कि कोई बहुत बड़ी और अच्छी खबर हमें मिलेगी, लेकिन कहीं कमी रही कि 100 ग्राम जो वज़न था, जैसा आपने मुझे बताया कि ज़्यादा था, तो उसकी वजह से डिस्क्वालीफाई हुई। ये बहुत अफसोस है, हम बहुत उम्मीद कर रहे थे, लेकिन हम अपनी बेटी को फिर भी हौसला देते हैं कि कोई बात नहीं, और टाइम आगे जो उसका सपना है वो साकार होगा।
It is the International Olympic Committee has squarely to be blamed for this kind of a situation, and it is absolutely unacceptable, and I think we should take it up at the highest level.
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बहुत कोशिश की, ओलंपिक संघ की अध्यक्ष से बात की कि इसमें करिए, जो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम कर सकते हैं कीजिए, हमारी बेटी खेले। आज पूरा देश इसके कारण सदमे में है, लेकिन जैसा प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि बिटिया विनेश फोगाट चैंपियन थी, चैंपियन है, चैंपियन रहेगी।
Even as Vinesh's dream of an Olympic gold goes up in smoke, the entire nation stands with her at this difficult time.
After winning the country 2 bronze medals at the ongoing Paris Olympics, ace Indian shooter Manu Bhaker arrived at the Delhi airport on Wednesday to a rousing public reception. Triumphalist chants went up in the crowd and drum beats rent the air as Manu landed in the national capital on her way home to Jhajjar, Haryana. Watch this report on Manu Happy Returns.
After making a billion Indians proud with her spectacular performance at the Paris Olympics, ace shooter Manu Bhaker arrived in Delhi to a rapturous applause. Manu Bhaker shone at the Paris Games, winning 2 bronze medals in the 10-meter air pistol and the 10-meter air pistol mixed team events. Manu was treated to a petal shower as she arrived at the airport. Loud chants rang out and drum beats rolled as Manu flaunted her 2 bronze medals.
बहुत बहुत खुशी हो रही है जिस तरीके का स्वागत किया गया एयरपोर्ट पे भी और यहाँ होटल में भी लीला पैलेस। मुझे बेहद खुशी है कि लोगों से इतना सारा प्यार मिल रहा है और इतना सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, और मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आगे भी ये यूं ही बरकरार रहेगा। मैं भी यूं ही मेहनत करती रहूँगी और अपना बेस्ट देती रहूँगी।
Manu Bhaker's coach Jaspal Rana was also treated to a warm reception by a delirious airport crowd.
गर्व की बात है कि एक भारत की 22 साल की मतलब छोटी बच्ची है जिसने देश के लिए इतिहास रच दिया, तो आई थिंक इट्स ऑनर एंड आई एम द मोस्ट आई थिंक प्राउडेस्ट पर्सन दैट कि ओलंपिक वाला सपना जो मेरा रह गया था इसके माध्यम से पूरा हुआ।
The Jhajjar girl narrowly missed out on a medal in the 25-meter women's pistol event, finishing 4th.
Well, it has been a great show for me. I have been shooting really well. These past, I think, 5-6 days have been amazing. I shot really well in all the qualifications. Then the final rounds were also great. So 2 bronzes and 1 4th position. So I think I'm happy for now, but need to work even harder in the future.
Though she fell short of striking gold at the Paris Olympics, she gladdened a billion Indian hearts with her haul at the greatest sporting event on the planet. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Under fire from the BJP over his remarks that what happened in Bangladesh could also happen in India, Veteran Congress leader Salman Khurshid beat a hasty retreat as he was confronted by your channel with some tough questions. Meanwhile, the Congress was quick to distance itself from Khurshid's remarks, ascribing them as his personal opinion. Watch this report.
The indie bloc's anti-India tirade stands exposed yet again. While the global eye watches the fall of Dhaka, a lobby in India hatches a sinister plan. Watch Congress leader Salman Khurshid duck Republic's question.
Khurshid, what do you have to say about his Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
Do you think a comment like this, why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you're undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salmanji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
In plain speak, Khurshid stated that what happened in Bangladesh can also happen in India. And while the Congress has chosen to distance itself from the statement, Indie allies have extended support. RJD leader Manu Bhaker is all praises for the Shaheen Bagh stir.
Don't measure Shaheen Bagh on the scale of grandeur, on the scale of what it achieved. Remember what constituted Shaheen Bagh. I was in the parliament, Shashi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh. And I draw a parallel here.
Congress leader Sajjan Verma followed suit and said that like Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, people would storm the Prime Minister's residence in India too.
आज मैंने तो आह्वान किया माइक से कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी, मोहन यादव और कैलाश सुन लो, कल बांग्लादेश की जनता घुस गई प्रधानमंत्री आवास में, 6 महीने पहले श्रीलंका की जनता घुस गई थी प्रधानमंत्री आवास में, अब तुम्हारे घरों में ये घुसेगी जनता, जो भ्रष्टाचार अब सहन नहीं हो रहा है, देश की जनता से विरोध।
The BJP has its opposition leaders cornered.
विपक्ष समर्थन कब करता है? विपक्ष तो विरोधी के लिए पैदा हुआ लगता है इस सत्र में, और अच्छे काम का भी विरोध करना है और बुरा काम तो सरकार करती नहीं है, लेकिन हर काम में अड़ंगे कैसे डाला जाता है, अगर किसी को सीखना हो तो वो भारतवर्ष में आकर विपक्ष से सीख सकता है।
भारत के मतदाताओं ने इस इंडी गठबंधन को तीसरी बार ऐसी वोट की चोट मारी है जिससे ये बौखला गए हैं, और उस बौखलाहट में ये उल-जलूल बातें करते हैं।
While the Khurshid's allies have refused a straight answer.
It is his individual opinion. Let us see. Congress President and the leader of opposition has told that Bangladesh is a sensitive issue, and we all need to be very sensible on reacting on the Bangladesh issue.
Politics is always a fluid state, and things are very volatile. So anything is possible anywhere in the world. I can't predict what happens in India, but it is a matter of great concern what is happening in Bangladesh, and we are keeping a close watch.
Pillars of democracy are very strong comparing Bangladesh, number one. Number two, anywhere in the world, wherever it is, minority interest should be protected. Whether it is in India or in Bangladesh or in Pakistan, we stand for that.
With Congress drawing dangerous parallels, can the opposition's anti-India stance be brushed aside anymore?
Right, moving on, three weeks on, the relentless search operation for suspected terrorists from across the border continue to be underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district. Security forces have been scouring the dense forests of Basantgarh after a tip-off about the presence of terrorists there today. Here's a report on the latest on this front.
A cordon and search operation is underway in Udhampur, Jammu and Kashmir, following intelligence inputs about the presence of terrorists in the area. Joint security forces, including the police and army, have been on the hunt for terrorists in the Patinalla Kannad area of Basantgarh. Gunshots were heard as forces advanced into the dense forests to locate and neutralize the terrorists. So far, there are no reports of casualties, with the operation still ongoing. The ongoing operations follow the deadly encounter in April in which a village defense guard was killed by terrorists in the Doda area of Jammu's Udhampur district. The dense forested terrain of Basantgarh is proving to be a challenge in the ongoing operation, but the forces remain determined to track down the cowards. Meanwhile, residents have been advised to stay indoors and report any suspicious activity as the search operation intensifies. With ops reaching a decisive phase, the forces remain firm in their resolve to crush terrorism in the valley.
Important to mention that these 5 years of the abrogation of Article 370 to 2024, that is the era from 5th August 2019 to 2024, has seen a sea wind change in Jammu and Kashmir, starting from the foreign investment that has come to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir worth lakhs of crores, along with the peace that has prevailed, the separatism that has died down, and also the say of the Pakistan that has seen an absolute zero takers in Jammu and Kashmir, as no more the calendars of Hartal are issued from the Pakistan. It is the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are taking the decisions, and also for the mega festival of the democracy, that is the assembly elections, which the Jammu and Kashmir will witness in days as we head and celebrates the 5 years of abrogation of Article 370 and 35 Felfa. With Gaurav Sahni, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network.
In a development that could potentially raise the hackles in the country's diplomatic corridors, the Pakistan High Commission on Wednesday sent a complement of mangoes that the country has to offer to 7 opposition MPs, including Rahul Gandhi. What's in it with these MPs that Pakistan so enjoys? Let's look at this report.
Raising the eyebrows in India's diplomatic circles, the Pakistan High Commission sent mangoes to Indian MPs. 7 Indian MPs, all from the opposition, received boxes of mangoes sent by the Pak High Commission. Significantly among the recipients of the delightful Pak mangoes was Congress MP Rahul Gandhi as well as Independent MP Kapil Sibal.
Mangoes have been sent to 7 opposition leaders, Rahul Gandhi on top of it. Rahul Gandhi is also received from Pakistan. Now it is being said that the mayhem, the chaotic situation in Bangladesh on one side, and it looks like opposition is celebrating or what?
Yeah, no, someone sends us mangoes, it doesn't mean we are celebrating. That's absurd. These are track 2 initiatives which are taken and which are diplomatically respected all over the world. And we can't answer for something that someone sends me. I hope Prime Minister will send me some mangoes.
4 Samajwadi Party MPs also received mangoes from Pakistan. A select complement of mangoes from a country which has only exported terror to India is drawing eyeballs over Pakistan's bonhomie with the Congress.
Well, juicy or not, but definitely only for the opposition. That seems to be Pakistan's case. But moving on, as the political war of words intensified over the centre's bid to table the Waqf Amendment Bill, with more opposition leaders coming out against it, the broad contours of the proposed draft legislation and the changes proposed have come to the fore. Have a look at them.
The centre's Waqf Amendment Bill, which proposes to curb its powers to declare assets as its own, continues to invite frowns from the opposition.
We are joined by Congress Member of Parliament Manikam Tagore. Mr. Tagore, what's your opinion on the Waqf Amendment Bill, which is likely to be tabled tomorrow in the Parliament?
Let the bill comes, after that we'll react.
But there are so many amendments which have been stated in the Waqf board. What's Congress take with? Is Congress going to oppose it, or is Congress going to welcome it?
You had the draft amendment bill with you? Republic TV has the amendment bill with you. I, as an MP, I don't have it. But how Republic TV can have that amendment bill? If amendment comes to the MPs, we will react on it.
वक्फ अमेंडमेंट जो वक्फ बोर्ड में कर रहे हैं, ये अनावश्यक रूप से विवाद पैदा कर रहे हैं। वक्फ अमेंडमेंट में कोई जरूरत नहीं है समझौता उसकी समझौता कर।
वो कह रहे हैं कि ट्रांसपेरेंसी आएगी, महिलाओं को
ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं, सिर्फ मुस्लिम्स को परेशान करने की नीयत है। और क्या ट्रांसपेरेंसी है? और जानती नहीं गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रही।
प्रमोद जी, कल आ सकता है वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल, कांग्रेस का इस पर क्या टेक है?
मेरा सीधा सा ये कहना है कि पहले जो उससे पार्टीज हैं उनसे बात कर लें, अपने दोस्तों से बात कर लें, नीतीश और राव साहब।
However, undeterred despite the opposition protests, the centre is scheduled to table the Waqf Amendment Bill tomorrow. The proposed amendments will make it mandatory for the Waqf Board to draft 2 women members. They will also make it mandatory to register all Waqf properties through a central portal. The proposed amendments also guarding of the rights of the Bohra community. Earlier, Republic uncovered irregularities in listed Waqf properties that seldom come to the fore.
With the central government all set to introduce amendments to a bill, all set to curb the unfettered powers of the Waqf board to declare any property a Waqf asset and take control of it. There are many such properties over the years which have been illegally encroached, and we are standing right outside one such property which is present here in Hamilton Road, Kashmiri Gate, right from house number 645 to 655. These houses are Waqf Haji Ali Qayyum property being used for commercial purposes and not for any charitable purposes.
With the proposed changes now known, it is only a matter of time before the landmark Waqf Amendment Bill is tabled in Parliament.
Heartbreak at the cusp of victory. Vinesh disqualified ahead of finals. Why politicize Vinesh's all-out effort? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
এটা একটা ঐতিহাসিক ঘটনা, যেহেতু একজন নোবেল বিজয়ীকে অর্থ আত্মসাতের অভিযোগ এনেছে, জালিয়াতির অভিযোগ এনেছে, মানি লন্ডারিংয়ের অভিযোগ এনেছে। আমি একা নই, আমরা আরও 7 জন যারা সারা জীবন কঠোর পরিশ্রম করেছে গরিব মানুষের জন্য। এরা কোনো চাকরি করতে এখানে আসে নাই, তারা তাদের জীবন দানের জন্য এখানে এসছে। তারাও এই অর্থ আত্মসাৎ, জালিয়াতি এবং মানি লন্ডারিংয়ের জন্য অভিযুক্ত।
cusp of victory. Vinesh disqualified ahead of finals. Why politicize Vinesh's all-out effort? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant CUET candidates. Over 25,000 scholarship holders have already benefited from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
cusp of victory. Vinesh disqualified ahead of finals. Why politicize Vinesh's all-out effort? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Watching live and baking with me, Raksa Mishra, and viewers, it has been a heartbreak in Paris for India's Vinesh Phogat gets disqualified because of crossing the weight limit for her category in which she was competing. We'll get you the latest statement that has come in from the IOA. Also, we'll get you what to expect tomorrow in the Parliament as the all-important Waqf Amendment Bill is going to be introduced. All that, but first up, the headlines this hour.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Pado, kuch bano.
Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100 grams overweight.
Disqualification is very shocking. The Wrestling Federation of India has filed an appeal to UWW to consider the decision to disqualify Vinesh, and IOA is following that up in the strongest possible manner.
Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge strong protest. He also dials the IOA president and asks her to explore all the legal options.
Made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salmanji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform.
Please. I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent on shameful Bangladesh comparison, Congress leader Khurshid ducks and evades questions.
I was in the parliament, Shashi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to anti-India tirade by the Indie bloc. Now RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies Shaheen Bagh stir. NDA government to table bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. An Air Dynasty helicopter crashes at Shivpuri in Nuwakot in Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway.
Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Pado, kuch bano.
Viewers, the top story today that we are tracking is the disqualification of Vinesh Phogat. Remember, in the latest, the IOA has issued a statement. Dr. Pardiwala, who is the Chief Medical Officer for the Indian contingent, and also PT Usha, who is the IOA President, have come out finally and issued a statement. Of course, they've expressed their sadness of what's happened. But remember, it was 100 grams more than the desired weight. In fact, it was 2 kilos, at least 2 kilos overweight yesterday only. As per Dr. Pardiwala. And there are, of course, rules that cannot be bent for any player. Viewers, that is what has happened. She has been disqualified from the Paris Olympics. It's a heartbreak. She was a step away from that gold medal. Her final was supposed to take place tonight, later in the night. And there have been multiple reactions coming in. First up is the IOA's official statement. Listen in.
After hearing the news that Vinesh Phogat is disqualified, I am shocked and I am disappointed also. And I had come here and met the Vinesh, and she was physically okay and medically also she is okay, but mentally she is a little bit disappointed. And whatever yesterday night, our support staff, her support staff and our support staff all are with her to reduce the from weight from increase to 2.7 to 50 kg. So they were trying their best, and even I am here to village because I have to be with other athletes also, those who are going to participate today, and get them to be in the track. I think yesterday whole night doctors and all not slept, and they have done their maximum to be for Vinesh.
Now, viewers, Republic TV also spoke to Bajrang Punia's coach, who Bajrang Punia, remember, is a former Olympic medalist. And what does his coach have to say on this story? Take a listen in.
इसका बड़ा दुख है और बड़ा दुर्भाग्य रहा लड़की का, और उसके पूरी हमें उम्मीद थी कि गोल्ड लेगी और लेती भी गोल्ड, लेकिन भगवान की लीला है, पता नहीं क्या हो गया उस लड़की को कि 100 ग्राम उसका वेट फालतू रहा।
सर ऐसा क्यों हो जाता है? आप तो देखते हैं बच्चों को ट्रेन करते हैं, लास्ट मोमेंट में ऐसा वेट गेन क्यों हो जाता है? 100 ग्राम में डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन भी हो गया।
उसने वजन भी घटाया था ना काफ़ी, वजन एक तो उसके शरीर पर ना वो फालतू नहीं है, क्या नाम है, फैट नहीं है, तो इस वजह से उसका वजन घटना भी बड़ा मुश्किल था। लेकिन बहुत कोशिश की लड़की ने, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य ने और भगवान ने उसका कहीं ना कहीं 100 ग्राम पे मामला दुर्भाग्य कर दिया।
क्या कहना चाहेंगे? आप बच्चों को ट्रेन करते हैं, यहाँ पे बहुत मेहनत जाती है इसके पीछे उस मुकाम तक पहुँचने के लिए।
देखो बड़े मन लगाकर अनुशासन में रहते हुए कि हमको मालूम है कि वेट पूरा दिखाना है, उसके लिए हमें अपनी डाइट पे कंट्रोल रखना चाहिए, और वेट पे सभी को पता है कि वेट होता ज़रूर है, इसलिए हमें अपने वेट पे करके कंट्रोल करना चाहिए और अपनी डाइट पे भी कंट्रोल करना चाहिए।
उनका मनोबल बना रहे, इस पे आप क्या विशेष देना चाहेंगे उनको?
लड़की बहुत बहादुर है और मेहनती है लड़की, और हिम्मत हारने वाली लड़की नहीं है, और भगवान उसका भला करेगा।
अजीत जी, आपने देखा कि कितना मेहनत लगता है उस मुकाम तक पहुंचने के लिए, जहां तक करीबन सब अपनी कोशिश करते हैं, और विनेश फोगाट या सिल्वर या गोल्ड लाने वाली थी, पर बहुत ही एक अनफॉर्चुनेट सिचुएशन हो गया उनका डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन। क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए बहुत ही दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण घटना हुई है। हमारा एक भारत देश का एक गोल्ड मेडल हमारे हाथ से चला गया, और इस मुकाम तक पहुंचने के लिए बहुत कड़ी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है एक प्लेयर को, उसके परिवार को, उसके कोच को, स्वयं उसको कुछ अपने परिवार में क्या फंक्शन है उनका भी पता नहीं रहता, और इस मुकाम पर पहुंचने के लिए विनेश ने दिन रात एक किया था, और उसने जो अपना परफॉर्मेंस दिखाया एक चैंपियन को हरा के, तो वो भी साबित कर दिया कि उसने कहा मैं गोल्ड के हकदार हूँ। लेकिन कल जो ये आज सवेरे जो वजन का मसला हुआ, ये बहुत ही, इसमें क्या है कि कल जब उसने कुश्ती लड़ी तो उसके लिए कुछ खाना पड़ता है रिकवरी के लिए, क्योंकि वजन तोड़ने के बाद काफ़ी कमजोरी आ जाती है, और दोबारा कुश्ती करने के लिए हमें खाना पड़ेगा कुछ कैलोरी, जब तक हम कुछ खाएंगे नहीं तो कुश्ती नहीं लड़ पाएंगे। तो कुश्ती लड़ने के बाद जो उसने वजन जो उसका बढ़ा खाने के बाद, तो काफ़ी कोशिश करने के बाद भी जो है वजन नहीं घट पाया, और लास्ट में एक मुंह में ऐसा हो जाता कि वजन घटाते घटाते जब 50 या 100 ग्राम रह जाता है, 1 ग्राम भी नीचे नहीं आता, चाहे उसमें कोच कितनी कोशिश कर ले या, तो उन्होंने बहुत कोशिश की होगी, क्योंकि विनेश को भी पता है अगर वजन आएगा तो सिल्वर मेडल तो पक्का है ही, तो ऐसा नहीं है। लेकिन ये बहुत ही बड़ी एक हमारे साथ क्या बताएं बदकिस्मती कहेंगे इसको, किस्मत में मेडल नहीं था, लेकिन पूरे देश के पहलवानों के लिए, पूरे देश की जनता के लिए गोल्ड मेडल है हमारी तरफ से। हम भी देश को बहुत बधाई देते हैं इसके लिए कि उन्होंने चैंपियन को हराया, एक मेडलिस्ट को हराया, और हमारे लिए तो उसका गोल्ड आ चुका है। ये एक टेक्निकल चीज़ थी जो फंस गई, और इसमें कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता, इसमें कोई पॉलिटिकल या कोई टेक्निकल या कोई ओलंपियन या कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता। ये रूल है तो रूल है, इसमें हम कोई एक्सक्यूज नहीं होता इसमें, क्योंकि सभी रेसलर वहाँ खड़े होते हैं, सभी जब तक वजन सबका नहीं हो जाता तो देखते रहते कितना वजन है, दूसरे रेसलर ऑब्जेक्शन करेंगे और मामला सिस्टम बिगड़ जाएगा। तो इसलिए अगर वजन 100 ग्राम ज़्यादा था तो उसमें हम कोई उसके कोई एक्सक्यूज नहीं हो सकता, तो UWW का रूल है।
Now viewers, of course, this requires entire process. There's a process to the weight cutting, and of course there are many questions being raised because this is a seasoned athlete. She has participated in so many of these big tournaments, and of course many questions will be raised on how was her weight being monitored and what really went wrong, because she was so close to that medal. Now the politics over this is also unfolding, viewers. Today we saw the opposition walking out when the sports minister, the union sport minister Mansukh Mandaviya, was giving a statement on what really happened with Vinesh Phogat. Take a look at this report and listen into the statement.
भारतीय रेसलर विनेश फोगाट को तय कैटेगरी में ज़्यादा वजन 100 ग्राम होने की वजह से पेरिस ओलंपिक से बाहर होना पड़ा है। विनेश 50 केजी की कैटेगरी में खेल रही थी। स्पर्धा के लिए विनेश का वजन 50 किलोग्राम होना अनिवार्य था। UWW के नियमों और विनियमों के अनुसार सभी प्रतियोगिताओं के लिए संबंधित श्रेणी के लिए प्रत्येक सुबह वजन माप का आयोजन किया जाता है। अनुच्छेद 11 के अनुसार यदि कोई एथलीट वजन माप प्रथम अथवा द्वितीय में भाग नहीं लेता है अथवा असफल हो जाता है तो उसे प्रतियोगिता से बाहर कर दिया जाता है और बिना किसी रैंक के अंतिम स्थान पर रखा जाता है। 7 अगस्त 2024 को 50 किलोग्राम महिला कुश्ती के लिए वजन का निर्धारण 7:15 और 7:30 पेरिस समय के अनुसार रेपोचेज और फाइनल में भाग लेने वाले पहलवानों के लिए किया गया था। विनेश का वजन 50 किलो 100 ग्राम पाया गया, इसलिए वे स्पर्धा के लिए अयोग्य घोषित की गई। इस मामले को लेकर भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ ने अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कुश्ती संघ से कड़ा विरोध भी दर्ज किया है। नेशनल भारतीय ओलंपिक संघ की अध्यक्षा PT उषा भी अभी पेरिस में है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने स्वयं उसके साथ बातचीत करके उचित कार्यवाही करने के लिए, उचित एक्शन लेने के लिए भी उसको कहा गया है। विनेश मंगलवार 6 अगस्त को 3 मुकाबले जीतकर 50 केजी रेसलिंग ओलंपिक में फाइनल में पहुंचने वाली पहली भारतीय महिला रेसलर बनी थी।
All right, viewers, we now slip into our business segment, and it's a big news coming in for Google now. Viewers, there's a very important judgment that has been given in US. Now, US judge has ruled that Google, the search engine, the tech giant, illegally maintains monopoly over internet search and ads. And for more on this, I'm being joined by Priyanka from our business desk. Priyanka, tell us more details about it. What does this really mean for the tech giant? It's a huge setback for it, and how does it also affect the consumers?
Yes, Rakshita, that's right. So the US District Judge Amit Mehta, he ruled that tech giant Google is indeed a monopolist as it maintained its dominance across as a default search engine through exclusive deals. Now, the ruling will not only have significant impact on Google, but also other tech giants and also the millions of users across the world. The ruling now essentially opens the door for significant changes in how the search engines are positioned on devices. And in fact, according to Morgan Stanley analysts, Google pays Apple about $20 billion annually, or about 36% of what it earns through its search advertising made through the Safari browser. And while the exact penalties for Google at the moment are not determined, the decision could potentially force the company.
Right.
The decision could force the company to end its exclusive agreements, dramatically altering the search landscape indeed. And not only Google, but companies like Amazon and Meta, which are also facing several
Yes, Priyanka, of course, it's a big setback that is coming in right now. Of course, it remains to be seen how it really, unfolds. The US versus Google has been a long drawn battle for years now, but thank you so much for those details. We will be sipping to some more news and updates coming in from across the country. Viewers, this is Bharat in 2 minutes. After the exchange of fire with terrorists yesterday evening, a search operation was launched by the security forces in the Kanir area of Basantgarh. Anti-terror operation in Udhampur's Basantgarh has entered its 14th hour as Indian forces continue to engage a group of 4 Pakistani terrorists from Jaish-e-Mohammed. Vice Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Amarpreet Singh welcomed German Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Ingo Gerhardt at the launch of the exercise Tarang Shakti 24. The event featured a spectacular aerial rendezvous with the participants flying the Made in India light combat aircraft. A special team consisting of 6 trained army personnel, 4 SOG of Kerala Police, 2 forest officers and a dog squad leave for Sunrise Valley of Sujipara waterfalls in Wayanad to carry out a search operation.
In continuation of yesterday's heli drop operation, today also we are sending a team. Today we are including a cadaver dog and its handler. So total including the cadaver dog, it is a 13 members team. So we have spotted some specific locations where we wanted to search, and we wanted to go some more downstream. Yesterday for approximately 4 kilometers was covered. Today some more area we are trying to cover, but since some area and it's difficult area, we have to search also. So we'll try to maximum cover downstream area.
So yesterday. Students' protest continues in Old Rajendra Nagar over the death of 3 students due to rainwater logging in the basement of a coaching institute. Despite incessant rains and water logging, the protest rages on, demanding action and accountability. Water entered Lord Hanuman's temple in Prayagraj as the water level in Ganga and Yamuna rivers rose. Rivers are swelling amid the incessant rains that are lashing states across the country. Olympic medalist Manu Bhaker received a rousing welcome after landing back home. Manu is back in India after a historic feat of winning 2 medals in a single edition of the Olympic Games. Despite the morning drizzle, hundreds of people waited at the airport long before her arrival, giving her and her coach Jaspal Rana an enthusiastic welcome.
The Waqf Board Amendment Bill 2024 is here with lots of changes from the existing law, right from the name to the administrative roles. Stay tuned as we bring in more details on this from Ground Zero. We will be back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
Heartbreak at the cusp of victory. Vinesh disqualified ahead of finals. Why politicize Vinesh's all-out effort? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. Our condolences, of course, go out to those who have been hurt in the violence over the past few weeks. We are focused now on supporting an end to the violence and for accountability. All decisions regarding the interim government should be made with respect to democratic principles, rule of law, and the will of the Bangladeshi people. We have seen the announcement that Prime Minister Hasina resigned from her position and departed Bangladesh. We are monitoring the situation carefully. The United States stands with the people of Bangladesh. We urge all parties to refrain from further violence. Too many lives have been lost over the course of the past several weeks, and we urge calm and restraint in the days ahead. We welcome the announcement of an interim government and urge any transition be conducted in accordance with Bangladesh's laws. Finally, we are deeply saddened about the reports of human rights abuses, casualties, and injuries over the weekend and past weeks. With respect to the violence over the past few weeks and the deaths that have occurred, it is vital that we have full and transparent investigation. It's important that we focus on the Bangladeshi people's democratic aspirations and see a path to democratic governance.
на західну бойову авіацію. Від початку цієї війни ми говорили з партнерами про те, що необхідно закрити наше українське небо від російських ракет, від російських літаків. Ми провели сотні зустрічей та перемовин, щоб зміцнити можливості нашої авіації, зміцнити можливості нашої ППО, наших сил оборони. Ми часто чули у відповідь слово «це неможливо», але все ж ми зробили можливим те, що було нашою амбіцією, нашою оборонною потребою. А тепер це дійсно реальність у нашому небі. F-16.
Now viewers, Congress leader Salman Khurshid has stoked another controversy. He in fact has issued a warning by saying that what's happening in Bangladesh is very well possible that could be happening in India even if everything looks normal. And now the Congress has distanced itself from the statement that was given by Khurshid. Republic TV confronted Salman Khurshid on camera. Look how he ducks and dodges our questions.
To say about his statement? What do you have to say? Your own party has distanced itself.
No.
Your own party has distanced itself from your comment. What do you have to say?
Please ask my party.
No, but this do you think a comment like this, why did you make a comment like this? Don't you think it undermines the image of your own country?
What you are undermining is my freedom not to say something.
You have to be, if you made such a comment in a public platform.
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salmanji, you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Heartbreak at the cusp of victory. Vinesh disqualified ahead of finals. Why politicize Vinesh's all-out effort? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Amity University has one of India's largest merit scholarship programs for brilliant CUET candidates. Over 25,000 scholarship holders have already benefited from the culture of academic excellence and focus on research and innovation. To be with like-minded students who want to be successful, apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
blending the human side of mobile tech with reliable journalism at Asia's largest news headquarters. HMD Smartphones and Republic, partnering to prioritize innovation.
This is Republic and you're watching This Is Exclusive with me, Shavin Sen. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we bring to you two stories that we are tracking on This Is Exclusive. Billion heartbreak after that disappointing decision that was taken by the Indian Olympic Association, I beg your pardon, the IOC, and not just that. The other big story that we are getting to you tonight is with regards to what's really happening in Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, while on the one hand you have Indian political parties and certain political leaders who are saying that there could be a repeat of what's happening in Bangladesh, but take a look at what's really happening on the ground. A military proxy leader is now being brought in, Mohammad Yunus, to head the interim government. But what ramifications does it really have for India? Joining us tonight on this broadcast is the former Deputy National Security Advisor Pankaj Saran, would be joining us in a short while from now. Let's take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano. Wrestler Vinesh Phogat misses Olympic gold shot, disqualified for being 100 grams overweight. Prime Minister asks the Indian Olympic body to lodge strong protest. He also dials IOA president and asks her to explore all legal options.
In a public platform,
You should not be going anywhere to people that you abuse all the time. Please.
Salman ji,
you made a comment about your country like this in a public platform. What do you have to say about this?
I say whatever I say in public, never in private.
Silent and shameful Bangladesh comparison. Congress leader Salman Khurshid ducks and evades our questions.
I was in the parliament, Shashi was in the parliament, we had lost. When parliament lost, roads became alive all over India. There lies Shaheen Bagh.
No end to the anti-India tirade by Indie bloc leaders. RJD leader Manu Bhaker glorifies Shaheen Bagh stir. NDA government to table bill seeking amendment to Waqf Act. Major changes proposed. Air Dynasty helicopter crashes at Shivpuri in Nuwakot in Kathmandu. Rescue operations underway. Presenting by Royal Global University. Northeast can't wait. Padho, kuch bano. Starting this edition of This Is Exclusive with some breaking news now coming in from Bangladesh as BNP chief Khalida Zia, who's been released, has now spoken for the first time. In a rally, she said that students are our future and the dreams for which young students have shed their blood must be realized. Khalida also urged Bangladeshis to strengthen the youth of the nation. Now that's the first breaking news now coming in with regards to what's really happening in Bangladesh. Let me straight away bring in our special guest who's joining us on this broadcast. The larger picture that is basically emerging right now is with regards to what really happens in the subcontinent. Ladies and gentlemen, you've already had some political leaders with certain vested interest once again talking about that there is a possibility that this anarchy could actually take place in India too. What does this mean when the military essentially takes over, especially keeping in mind that this is not new? We have seen violent protests taking place in Bangladesh back in the 70s and 80s. Political assassinations have also taken place. But ladies and gentlemen, this at a time when we have seen a volatile situation in our subcontinent. More on this, I'm also joined in by the former Deputy National Security Advisor. He's also been the former High Commissioner to Bangladesh. This was at a crucial period that he has spent the time in Bangladesh. Thank you very much, Ambassador Sarun, for joining us on this broadcast. Let me straight away begin by asking you, in the last few days, the developments that have taken place, many would say that a trusted friend of India has now been ousted. What does this essentially mean for India? And does it really have a direct ramification, especially when you have the military taking reins and perhaps having a puppet government in picture?
Well, obviously the manner of the ouster and the removal and the resignation of Sheikh Hasina is a very, very significant development for Bangladesh, obviously, but also for India, because remember that our links with Bangladesh are so integral and connected that whatever happens inside Bangladesh directly affects India also. And that has been one lesson of history that we have learned in the last 50 years. So, but we are ready for facing new realities. We are ready to start from where we left off. We are ready to learn lessons about what happened, how to, in fact, structure the relationship in a better shape. But as of now, I think what the best thing to do for us is to allow the people of Bangladesh and civil society and students to sort out the post-Hasina crisis moments and find some kind of a new equilibrium, starting first and foremost with the re-establishment of the basic essentials of law and order and prevent any further drift into anarchy. After that, of course, I think the India aspect will come in much later. I think today the priority for Bangladesh really is to figure out how to navigate these critical few days.
Ambassador Sarun, we are also talking about the grip that the Jamatis have at this point in time. You've already heard what BNP Chief Khalida Zia had to say, and we perhaps have not really shared the best of relation with Khalida Zia. How do you really see the turn of events with Jamaat getting a full grip over Bangladesh? Just about yesterday when we spoke to Sheikh Hasina's son, he says that this is going to be a repeat of what we saw in Pakistan. Is that the same concern that you share?
You know, look, I'm not a Bangladeshi, and I'm not also a party to what is happening inside Bangladesh. So someone like Sheikh Hasina's son will have very different views from my own views or an Indian view. As far as my own views are concerned, obviously the Jamaat has had a very, very checkered history, starting with questioning the existence of Bangladesh in 1971, being responsible for the genocide of many intellectuals and many, many other people, thousands of people. And they have actually had a very revisionist view of Bangladesh. I don't think they can survive in 2024 with that kind of an ideology, for the very simple reason that today the demographic bulge in Bangladesh belongs to young Bangladeshis who identify themselves as Bangladeshis, not as erstwhile Pakistanis or erstwhile Indians. That generation has gone. So we are faced with a new reality, a new demographic, and people who have much greater aspirations and much greater self-confidence about their identity. Now, I know that the Jamaat has also transformed itself, but the question we have to wait and see is how it behaves when it is facing the prospect of assuming, or let us say, enjoying much greater power than they did in the past. We have to see whether they have the ability to reinvent themselves, or they're going to also repeat the mistakes they have made in the past.
Ambassador Sarun, a last question that I would like to take with you is with regards to, many have now argued that we perhaps cannot really romanticize 1971, and we need to understand that a monochromatic sort of dialogue with Bangladesh can no longer really work. Time to really engage with those we haven't in the past. What would you say that would be the immediate challenges that India faces right now in terms of diplomacy?
Well, you know, just to correct the record, I think we have engaged with all political formations, all political sides, and all sections of Bangladeshi society more than any other country has done. This includes political parties, businesses, civil society, academia, media, everyone. So I think this impression needs to be corrected that somehow India was not engaged across the full spectrum. And we have dealt with governments of Khalida Zia, with governments in which the Jamaat was in power. I myself have met Jamaat leaders. So I think what we need to do now is to further scale up our engagement, and I'm absolutely sure we will do it. And there is no other option except for reaching out to every single section of the Bangladeshi society. Remember, we give almost close to 2 million visas we have given 1 or 2 years ago to Bangladeshis. The kind of linkages we have in terms of rail, in terms of road, in terms of air, in terms of land crossings, these are unprecedented. There are no examples like this in the world in terms of how much people-to-people interaction we've had. And this cuts across professions, ideologies, everything. So I think we have a full-scale exposure to Bangladesh. We will see much more of it happening. The Awami League won the election. They were in power. It is obvious that we will deal with the government in power. Tomorrow, if there is another government in power, we will deal with that government. I mean, this is normal interstate business. There is nothing abnormal about India wanting to maximize its relationships with the government in power. We tried the same thing with Khalida Zia. We tried the same thing with General Ershad, with General Ziaur Rahman. Some succeeded, some did not succeed.
Well, thank you very much, Ambassador Saran, for joining us on this broadcast and for putting this into perspective, because there was a large argument that was made by many that did we really make the mistake of only having a one-sided communication with Sheikh Hasina and leaving the other stakeholders. Thank you very much for putting that into perspective, because that was a perspective that was missing for a very long time, that forgetting about the fact that there has been an engagement that India has had with various stakeholders in Bangladesh, and it goes way beyond than what we are witnessing right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Should we focus now to the other story that we're getting to you tonight on This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, undoubtedly this has been a heartbreaking moment for India. Vinesh Phogat, who was going to fight for the gold, has now been left out in the championship. This after she did not really comply with the rules. Just about 100 grams overweight, and she was out of the competition. What's the real story behind the category in which she was essentially competing, and the fact that in a span of less than 12 hours, the changes that Vinesh Phogat had to really undergo to participate in this very competition has been an arduous, a challenging task. There is absolutely no doubt about the fact that today all Indians are proud of what Vinesh Phogat has been able to achieve. But undoubtedly this is also the same very moment where questions are also being raised about whether at all the changes that one sportsman has to really go through because of the changes in the categories that they are basically competing in, there is a rapid change in it. Let me go across to my colleague Rakshita, who is joining us on this broadcast, and also speaking exclusively to Republic TV is Mahavir Phogat. महावीर जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद रिपब्लिक टीवी से बात करने के लिए। सबसे पहले आपसे ये सवाल करना चाहूँगा कि जिस तरह से आज करोड़ों लोगों का दिल टूटा है विनेश फोगाट की इस हार से, क्या आप मानते हैं कि एक बहुत बड़ी चुनौती थी और आखिरकार एक लेसन सीखा जा सकता है इस पूरे मामले को लेकर, क्योंकि जिस तरह से देखा जा रहा है कि ये कहा जा रहा है कि रूल्स है और रूल्स को फॉलो करना हमारे लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है?
बिल्कुल, जो ओलंपिक में जो विनेश गोल्ड मेडल के नज़दीक थी, और ये जो आज कल शाम ने जो सेमीफाइनल में क्रॉस करके फाइनल में गई, तो बड़ी लोगों को खुशी थी, हम सबको खुशी थी, परिवार को खुशी थी। जब हमें सुबह उठ करके सारी तैयारी, पटाखे, फूल मालाएँ, मिठाई, हमने सब जो है तैयारी कर रखी थी, और सुबह जो 8-9 बजे जो ये समाचार मिला वे डिस्क्वालीफाई कर दी वो उन्हें, तो बड़ा दुख होया, बड़ा अच्छा महसूस होया, बड़ा दुख शरीर होया। और मैं नहीं, हमारे परिवार नहीं, सारे देश को बड़ा दुख है इस चीज़ के बारे में और बड़ा सबको सदमा लगा ये बात सुनकर।
महावीर जी, हमारे साथ इस वक्त मेरे कलीग रक्षिता भी जुड़ रही है। Rakshita, if you can just take the other questions with regards to what has also been the larger picture that has basically emerged, the challenges that a sports person essentially faces, especially of the change in the category. In this particular case, we have seen the change in the category that she was competing in, and that turned out to be the biggest challenge that Vinesh has
इनफैक्ट महावीर जी, जो कि हमने देखा है किस तरह से वेट कैटेगरी चेंज करी है विनेश ने इस दफ़ा, और इसको लेकर इसका जिक्र भी किया है पर्दीवाला जी ने, जो डॉक्टर हैं, जो CMO हैं, उसको लेकर तमाम तरह की जो चुनौतियां सामने आई और बहुत ही कम समय था उनके पास कि वो ये 100 ग्राम कम कर सके। कल तो 2 किलो बढ़ गया था और फिर 100 ग्राम रह गया था, वो मार्क वो हिट नहीं कर पाई। लेकिन एक सवाल यहाँ पर ये भी खड़ा होता है महावीर जी, कहीं ना कहीं आपको लगता है कि कुछ कमियां कहीं रह गई? आपको लगता है कि किसी भी तरह से कोई कोताही क्या बरती गई है? क्या ये अवॉइडेबल था? क्या इस ये सब जो हुआ है इसको रोका जा सकता था? क्योंकि विनेश जो है बहुत लंबे समय से एथलीट रही हैं, तमाम बड़ी बड़ी चैंपियनशिप्स में खेल चुकी हैं, गोल्ड, ब्रॉन्ज, सिल्वर सब जीत चुकी हैं। ये ओलंपिक्स है, इसको लेकर हमारे तमाम स्टाफ भेजे गए हैं, स्पेशली मेंटल हेल्थ न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट सब भेजे गए। आपको लगता है कि कुछ कहीं ना कहीं बेहतर किया जा सकता था? इनके पास क्या कोई दूसरा एक ऑप्शन नहीं था कि वो जल्द ऐसी जो सिचुएशन है वो आई नहीं?
देखिए, जो वज़न जो सुबह होना था उसका, उससे पहले जो है कोच को वज़न चेक करना चाहिए था 2 घंटे पहले, और वज़न ज़्यादा वज़न था उसको जो है ना कम करना चाहिए था, या कोई दौड़ करवानी थी, पसीने निकालने थे। तो ये तो शाम ने खाने में क्या दिया है क्या नहीं, वह तो विनेश या कोच को ही पता है भाई ये वज़न क्यों बढ़ा, फिर इसको कंट्रोल कैसे किया या नहीं किया।
महावीर जी